I do believe.
My girlfriend's wandering around looking for a cat that's right behind her.
Cat's following her.
Well, oh, the cats definitely own Adele. That is 100% certain.
I gotta figure out how to full screen that so you don't see that.
And we have like over 1,000 fish. Is that so? Is the sound of the fountain into the pond too loud, or
I don't hear any fountain.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, this is like our over there is like the fish pond thing.
Oh,
Our moat. We have a moat around our house.
Get me out of
It's
this shit.
full of fish.
These people are
just a
fucking
tiny
crazy.
moat,
You look like a bush pilot.
right?
It's his next call.
Like a drunk Australian bush pilot, like just out in the middle of nowhere. Like, yeah, I got a helicopter. I'll fly you in.
Crikey! How I find myself here?
What's up, Bowman?
It's the same heli that's been here since Vietnam.
I bet it's entirely likely where he's at.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, it is. It's very common. There's so many bar owners that were actually here.
It's just got
in
that
Vietnam.
one Creedence Clearwater CD glued to the fucking inside the cassette player.
Wait.
Ah, LaRon's on.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
He says Happy New Year's.
Hey, LaRon, what are you doing next Monday
Hi,
or
Ron.
Tuesday if the sun's out? Round Fairfield bits. Did I? All right, so we're not going to use names here, right? Real quick.
Okay.
I guess.
Roger that,
it
Echo
depends.
Leader.
Bowman, did I tell you?
Well, you just said no names. What?
Well, we overdid the. We already doxed Holdren for sure.
Yeah, but we can't dox this person because it's a big deal. Did I tell
Okay.
you that one of the guys I know that was in Vietnam was probably Mac Visog?
No.
Yeah.
Wow. That's that'd be a very interesting person to talk to.
Yes, it would. Yeah.
I knew a guy, we call him Triple M, and he was like, I met him when I was in Chiang Mai at this place called Supatra, which was like a late night eating place, just like Thai food. And for whatever reason, he was like, "Hey, man," he was an American guy, and he looked kind of like a really old, extremely drunk American version of James Bond,
Okay.
but still in good shape, and
So,
had his
Later.
his hair dyed black as hell, and he's like, "Come up to my penthouse, man. I'm gonna show you some things." And I go to his penthouse overlooking the whole of Chiang Mai, and he just pulls this fucking thing out of his drawer,
Whoa.
sets it down, and it's a jar full of bullets with empty bullet casings with names on them.
Oh shit.
And I was like, "Oh, really?" And he was like, "I'm really struggling with this, man." And he kind of sounded like some kind of version of Sylvester Stallone. And so he ended up nicknaming me Mr. Pink. And then we we were friends for like, even Adele was and
No,
my lady
because
was
if
friends with
everyone
him as
picks
well.
their names, everyone wants Mr. Black, and then it's a massive fight. You're Mr. Pink.
Yeah, Mr. Pink.
Yeah.
Oh, did I ever tell you about this? So Mickey Tyranny is his well, it's not his son, but it's his adopted son. So Lawrence Tierney was the guy who plays that character. It's like, "You Mr. Pink," you know, that guy.
Yeah.
And this guy's super cool, man. Mickey Tierney's a super cool guy,
Right on.
really good friend. And he was. I remember one time he came into the bar because it was still in Chiang Mai, and he rolls in and he's like buying everybody everything, and I had no idea what was going on because I just knew him as Mickey. And then I was like, "So what happened?" He was like, "Oh, well, the royalties for Reservoir Dogs just rolled in for this year." And I was like, "You get royalties from Reservoir Dogs?" He's like, "Yeah, my dad's my dad's Lawrence Tierney." And I was like, "What? I've known you for like 2 years, and you've never told me anything about this." And he has this movie that he made called Evicted, this guy, Mickey Tierney,
Yeah,
Lawrence,
the son.
Lawrence Tierney gave him the money to make it. It is, and dude, it's the worst movie ever, but it's so good because it's so bad. I mean, it's like
No, Cameron, hold please. I watched the worst movie ever with you and some random girls that you were trying to like hang out with.
Porky style.
which one was that?
Really? You don't remember this? You don't
Remember
you don't
the
remember
Titan?
dragging me to Facing the Giants?
Oh, it's Facing the Giants. Oh God, yeah, that was at the Downtown Center Cinema. And I didn't know it was that was when Fox Faith had just come out as a studio. The Fox Faith, dude. I was like, what the hell is Fox Faith? And then we found out real quick, dude. The guy just kept crying all the time, like everywhere.
Yeah, except he couldn't cry, so he just blinked a lot while he dropped in the Jesus light between the trees. Like, it was the worst thing I've ever seen.
That's the one with the dude crawling on the guy's back.
It is, yeah, okay. Okay. Evicted is a much better movie than that. It is. So Mickey Tierney, you can actually, we can probably get him on this podcast, dude. He's an old friend of mine. He would be.
I'm
he has
sure
a
we could find
crazy
the
life
worst
story.
movie to show you, Lane.
Nope.
I don't
Me
know.
and Casey
No,
have seen some.
I forced him to watch part of it.
I had to watch
Yeah.
What,
part
Two
of
Rules, One
Facing the
Cup? What are we
Giants,
talking about here?
and I've watched a lot of crappy movies, and they're all better than that god awful trash.
All right.
Yeah.
Pun intended, I'm assuming.
Yes. Yeah. Honestly, I thought you were going to say it was Porky's 3 because that's pretty terrible too.
No.
Porky's 3 was pretty bad.
You
dude.
shut your fucking whore mouth.
Oh
God,
my
there
God.
was a zombie movie that I watched one time. It was from like 1974, back when it was like all of a sudden popular to make zombie movies. And God, it was so bad. It was like, I don't remember the name of it, dude, but I will try to find out.
Yeah.
It is
Speaking
so
of zombie movies, they're coming out with 28 years later now.
Years,
Yeah.
28 years later.
Oh God! I mean,
I-
talk about not even flogging a dead horse. Talk about fucking putting a strap on in a dead horse, bro. Like,
Dude,
what the hell?
Cameron, I still tell the story of your reaction to the first 3 minutes of Blazing Saddles when we were screening it before the classic series.
Yeah. I was like, oh, dude. Oh man. I don't know. It's better from your perspective than mine, I think.
No, right. So like, we would do this. Like, he would come down. He had to build the old reel movies like on Wednesday.
35 millimeter.
Wednesday, right? And then you
for
would
that
come,
one for that series, yeah.
Yeah. And then you would come down and hang out at the bars, and we would get you drunk, and then we would go back and screen the movie.
Yep.
And I didn't realize he's like, we're doing Blazing Saddles this week, and I'm like, sick. Like, I'll come watch. I didn't realize that he'd never seen the movie. So we sit down, like, we're all there, and in the first, like, 45 seconds, there's a racial slur. And I mean, it's not kind of a racial slur. It's like, boom.
Yes.
And Cameron looks over at me and he goes, what the fuck? He's like, I can't show this. I'm like, dude, this is the... Wait, what? You've never seen this? This is the whole movie. Yeah.
You gotta admit, it's a great movie, though.
Oh no, it's absolutely fantastic. I was just you have to understand the setting. I'm in the Fremont Theater, which is this Art Deco theater, and it's like super beautiful, and there's like all these snobby wine people that come to my shows, and
Oh,
you
they
know
love it.
and I'm like, dude, these people are gonna hate everybody for this. Like, and Lane's like, dude, this has been out since before you were born, man.
Yeah.
Like, it was.
Yeah.
You don't have to really think about that. It's okay. And I was like, okay, and
It's
then we
not a
fucking
new
sold.
movie.
We sold out 996 seats were sold out.
Yeah,
Of
like,
people just
listen.
listening to racial slurs.
Everyone going to the classic series has seen this movie and knows exactly what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
They all bought the tickets knowing.
Well, that's like when I went to go see Wrath of Khan,
Yeah.
like for its 50th anniversary, and I was like, oh, cool. This is, no one's gonna be in there. Sold out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. I mean, I was like the youngest guy in there,
anything.
but Jesus.
Just you and a bunch of other
It
Trekkie
was like
nerds.
old Trekkie dudes who were like, oh, I remember this movie when it came out. I was like, ooh, it was a little before my time.
Wait, so LeRon,
I mean,
Monday, wait, real quick. Monday and Tuesday would be my first days off since I don't know when. Like, I
can't
might
see,
get
so
Wednesday.
He
can't
says
see
he's
anything.
playing golf.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Where at? Do you have a foursome already? I need to know. Like, I need the details here.
He wants
That
to
could
go
be
against those
taken
high school
so out
girls
of
again
context.
for a rematch.
What's
Do you
that,
have a
Cameron?
four? Do you have? I said that could be taken so out of context in a clip.
Oh,
Did you have
yeah,
a
it's
foursome
going to be.
already?
It's gonna be.
Do you have a foursome already?
Listen, conveniently, I'm not running for office probably ever, especially
yeah.
after this podcast.
He's refusing to do that anyways. We've tried to get him
Hey,
to.
Me
podcasting
too.
worked.
He's gonna be.
Not for the
Indeed,
host.
podcasting did work. That was like the turning point in the election.
Yeah, but it didn't work for the host. It worked for the guest.
LeBron says,
Yeah.
just let me know.
Okay.
Yeah, play it.
Also, Donald Trump can say whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and Donald Trump is the Mel Brooks of politics.
That is true. I never put that together, but yeah, that's absolutely, dude.
Yeah, like everyone just excuses what he says. It's like, oh, he's just that's just how he is.
He's just making a
Just
movie.
Trump.
He's
Just it's like he's like, I don't know what to do with all these Mexicans. they're like he doesn't mean it. All they do is make burritos, but we like our burritos.
So who
Absolutely.
has the rights to this movie then?
That's dude, I could totally see him saying that too.
I'm like, who's gonna have the rights to this movie? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people will go watch that
Which movie? What
if Trump made a movie about his whole election
no,
process.
Donald
and
Trump
everything.
would have the rights to Donald Trump's movie.
NBC.
Oh yeah. Have you guys ever seen the Art of the Deal, the movie from Funny or Die?
I've not.
Kevin, you should see if you can bring up like some kind of a clip of that for a second, because it's hilarious. This was long before, it was like right when Donald Trump first announced that he was going to run in 2016, I think it was.
Well, he announced in
And,
2015.
2015, yeah. So 2015. But I mean the election for that election was what I was trying to say. But it is hilarious. It's like Johnny Depp doing a perfect Donald Trump impression, and then he like teleports himself from the past to meet his young self to tell him that someday he's going to be the president of the United States. Dude, yeah, it's absolutely classic. It's called The Art of the Deal, the movie.
It's not. Listen, everyone's like, "Oh, The Simpsons predicted it. No, this predicted. No, this predicted it." It's not really a prediction. Like, it's not. It's more of a comment on our social structure, and what it really says is, "Yep, we're that dumb."
Yeah.
Well, so that's the other thing too, is you know who did actually predict it? Donald Trump.
Oh yeah,
And that's where that whole narrative comes from. He was on, I think it was Jimmy Carr, or not Jimmy, Johnny Carson, and I think it was like that
and
long
he's
ago.
like,
And he's like, would you ever consider? Or no, it's early Letterman. It's very
Yeah, I've seen that
very
clip.
very early Letterman.
He said, "Nah, I wouldn't."
He was like, no, I wouldn't, unless I absolutely had to. I wouldn't. You know, it was like, there's so many interviews with him saying like, well, no, I don't think I'd want to do that, and then unless the American people need me.
dude, one of my favorite parts about it is how much Hollywood loved him. Right
Until-
up until like,
He was like Whoopi Goldberg's best friend,
yeah.
and like, you know what I mean, like, oh
He
man,
was in Home Alone 2, for fuck's sake.
Right? He hung out with
yeah. When
Macaulay.
he turns around and looks at Macaulay Culkin, and he gives him directions to the fucking elevator or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's right over there.
And, well, it was funny because the director of that film actually bitched and complained about that during the election cycle, the first one, and said, well, the only reason that we were allowed to use Trump Tower is Donald Trump let us do it, but he said, I want to have a cameo in the movie. And like, so you're telling me that the guy let you use your fucking building, use his entire building to shoot a
which
movie?
Was kind of
the
important
middle
in
of-
the movie.
You know, yeah, and it kind of made the movie a lot more funny. And it's like, and this guy's complaining about it. It's like, what? I mean,
Well,
it's
dude,
a kid's movie, for fuck's sake. Like,
look, there's
let it go.
nothing like complaining in this country about past success.
oh yeah.
Like, oh, well, I was forced to do that. Like, as soon as it goes bad, dude, this country's full of cowards. As soon as it goes bad, they're like, I was forced to. I write, like, I pen little things about how I, this versus that, or how I feel about certain topics, like just trying to square, like, my thoughts on it. And lately I've been thinking a lot about like how people manage, because you know, for a long time I've been managing managers, and I've decided that there are two kinds of managers. There are really two kinds, probably, of people. I mean, there's like, it's like everything else, right? There's like, you know, there's polar extremes, and there's a lot in the middle. But like we've sort of ventured out to the extremes. Like it's like, very simply put, there are doers and tellers. Right, and the tellers that are like the doers that are managers, when it goes bad, they just go take care of it. These are my favorite managers.
They're solutions managers. That's
tellers,
solutions based.
Their only capacity is to tell people what to do, and when they lose influence and get defensive, they turn into despots and cowards.
Yeah, I mean, you and I both actually have that same experience as far as, you know, managing managers for the last like forever. And there's ones that take failure of their own or success of their own, and they champion it. And there's ones that only take success and champion it. And then when it's failure, it wasn't me, it was that guy. I had no control. It was Lane wouldn't let me have the power to be able to do what I was supposed to do, and you know what I mean. Like, but there are ones that do, like, that I've been lucky enough to work with that they, when they fail, they own that shit, and they're like, yeah, that sucked. I fucking failed. What do I do now?
Yeah.
But you're like, well, this is what you do. You know?
I've grown up, like, lately I've come across a lot of the tellers, right? Just terrible, terrible managers who throw people under the bus to save their job. The only time they have a backbone is when they're looking down. Like, they're just awful, right? And they all have they all have nicknames. Fucking T2 was a teller. Couldn't do anything, had no vision, couldn't create revenue, was a teller, right?
That guy.
Knee pads across the street, absolutely a fucking teller. Has no skill whatsoever.
Jesus Christ, what's my fucking nickname? I don't even want to know.
Well, the difference is, Cameron, like,
Bernie McBurnston.
you can be a frustrated manager, but you at least have some skill. And when people don't do something, like, you're just going to jump into it. These people had no ability to do that. Like, the only thing they could do when something wasn't done was go tell someone else whose fault it was to make sure they weren't the ones fired.
Oh yeah, I mean, one of the first things I did especially when I got into the event production industry, was I went and I learned every single thing from every single perspective that I could: how to be a roadie, how to build a stage, how to run cables, how to talent buy, how to do all the different things. Because if you know at least all those things, and then everything goes wrong, this was actually, I have to thank Dave Loberg for that, because he was the one who told me. It was like, it doesn't matter if you're good at one thing, you have to be. You have to know everything and be great at 5 of them.
Dude, Dave Loberg, and thankfully I never had to work for him, because we would not have gotten along.
Yeah.
But Dave Loberg might be the most ruthless middle manager I've ever come across.
Yeah, dude, he was terrifying, but I was the only one who wasn't scared of him, which is why I ended up. The first time that he walked in, so I'm at Wallace Theaters in the Horizon, and Todd Blumoff gets fired, and Dave Loberg is on his way, and I come into work, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Dave Loberg's on his way," and I'm like, "Who the fuck is Dave Loberg?"
Yeah,
and they're like, Todd Blumoff left, and now there's Dave coming from Hawaii to come take over, and I'm like, okay. And everybody was trying to put the fear of God in me, so I went in the back room. He comes in, the general manager's office, which you've been in many times, Lane.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting in there. It's the ugliest fucking office you'll ever see. It looks like, but it looks like the room that I got took into in Abu Dhabi to get interrogated.
Okay, but in his defense, it was the ugliest office you might ever see, in possibly the ugliest theater you might ever see, in one of the ugliest buildings you've ever been in. Like, at that time,
theater was beautiful, goddamn.
Dude,
I did a lot of work on that theater.
About that building.
That theater was pitch black. It was black granite floor with black walls and the occasional LED light.
So no
you
real
couldn't
accents.
see shit in there. Don't tell me
I was the one who changed the lighting to the LEDs, by the way. Because they told me I needed to save like 12% on the annual budget, and so I was like, well, we're gonna take out all these halogens and fucking throw in LEDs. And at that time, back then, they only had the nice hospital, you're about to die in palliative care lights.
Oh yeah, like not warm at all. Straight fucking a little cool off of neutral Kelvin, like just.
Yeah.
Oh, brutal.
Alright,
Like you just
so-
feel like you're like, I'm having a heart attack already just by walking in the building. But yeah, when Dave first walked in the office, dude, I was like, I was like, I'm honored to meet you. And he was like, he just looked at my hand and he was like, I don't know about honored. And he just walked past me. And he just walked past me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, fuck this guy. I'm gonna fuck with this guy now.
What do you got, Kevin? You keep trying to jump in.
I was just gonna
Yeah, sorry.
see what you guys were smoking.
Good idea. Yes, that's
I'm finishing up on Oliva V Melanio Maduro.
Casey,
Maduro?
Did you take the last Maduro?
I think so.
Oh. I was like, you bastard.
what are you smoking, Casey?
I grabbed a Fuente Cazadores.
So you gave up on the Dark Star?
No, I realized I probably need two, so I
fair.
grabbed a
fair.
Cazadores just to be safe.
I am smoking a 1926 Torpedo.
Boo.
That's my cigar. What are you doing with a 1926? Wait, the natural or the Maduro?
Maduro.
You son of a
torpedo
bitch.
tip.
They had one left, so I figured, you know what? It's gonna go great with all this stag in front of me, which they can't see because camera's in the way.
He did that to you, so I got him.
I
a
can't
good
even
sugar
see it.
cigar.
I can't even see anything. So
Yeah,
where the fuck am I?
So we got a ton of stags, different ones.
Oh, he's blocking. Wait, go to
He is
yours.
blocking
He's
all of
blocking
them.
the stags.
all of them. You
That's
see that?
maybe like. Have you ever had a stag? Oh, it's a bourbon by Buffalo Trace.
It's a hell of a bourbon.
Yeah. Are you asking me or?
Yeah, Bowman.
Oh yeah.
He can't ask me. Half of these bottles are mine. Actually, three-quarters
more
of
than
them
half
are.
because you found the George T. Although I do have a closed 22 George T, but I want a 24. God damn it.
Well, mine's open now,
Yeah, I have some.
and we're gonna try it.
I'm gonna drink it last. It's not gonna get compared to the other stags because
Well,
it's just
yeah.
not fair.
So we have the 22A.
A, 22B,
B.
and 24A.
Yes,
'Cause we're having a stag.
it's a stag.
It's a stag party.
Well, there's
Back
always
to that.
dude, there's all these people. Like I've had a lot of them, and there's slight variations, but they're not like massively worse or better. But you know, all the whiskey tube guys are like, "Wow, this batch was terrible, but this batch is really living up to what stag is supposed to be." And you're like, "What's that supposed to be?" I don't know.
They all have relatively wonderful taste to them, as long as you don't have that new Cuban with them.
as long as you can handle the proof.
Well, the proof is
It's just
Yeah,
the one
where's-
thing. It's not
where's
a new
Christian?
whiskey drinker's whiskey.
no. What? Each one of these are like 130 proof.
Yeah, they're all around like plus or minus 2 proof points, 130.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think the
127.
George T is like 136.
Yeah.
It is. It's
it's-
136
it's paint
point
thinner.
one.
Yeah.
It's not paint thinner.
Paint thinner.
Listen, we decided to go high proofs today. We're gonna have fun,
High proof
enjoy it. This
paint-
is
paint
our New
thinner.
Year's.
It's the last podcast of the year.
yeah.
Bowman, what are
Yeah.
you drinking?
I am drinking. Actually, I just finished this, but
He's
I'm
vodka
drinking
beer.
what will be our sponsor eventually, Gansberg.
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 A completely
Hey.
Cambodia Corporation sponsored podcast.
Absolutely wonderful. Gansberg, only the finest German beer made right here
Listen, if Stag could
by
sponsor us,
non-Germans.
I would enjoy that.
Wait,
Dude, we got the
It's a
stamps.
German beer.
We got the leather stamps for the podcast logo because we just had the shop logo before.
Oh yeah.
It looks so sexy on like stamped into leather.
I thought about putting a hat over here and then completely spaced it. But I mean, it'd be blocked by camera.
I was
anyway,
going to
so-
ask. I have a question for Laurent.
Yeah, go ahead.
Which football team are you the assistant coach for?
God damn it.
Or is it basketball? Sorry, I couldn't figure out which one.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Laurent, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm
On
not.
that note, he just left the podcast. He's like, "Fuck you guys, I'm out."
And now we're.
He's gonna come back and he's gonna be like, "God damn it! How did he know I was the South Lake Tahoe Middle School or the Minden fucking middle
No,
school?"
no, no. He lives down in the Bay Area.
The
I'm going
Douglas
down to the.
Tigers.
I'm gonna go down and golf in the
okay.
sun
Yeah, he's
okay.
gonna have fun in the sun.
when I get days off.
Ron, you better be practicing.
I
You gotta beat
might get Wednesday off.
Maybe
Maybe.
him. Maybe.
Just depends.
Next week, right?
Well, now I'm lonely. I gotta go get a beer. Just a second.
All right, you go get a beer.
I don't have a Heidi on my podcast
So
yet.
if you picked,
Oh wait, I do. Oh wait, I just went to get up and the lovely Adele, my girlfriend, decided to do it for me instead.
what?
Magic.
Do you want to say hi to the podcast?
She's
Are you
all
sure?
no, I don't.
No, I don't want to be on camera. You.
Yeah,
Gansbury.
that goes against her witness protection.
Anyway, sorry. I digress.
Girls in WITSEC.
Probably.
I'm amazed to be honest. To be fair,
To be fair.
To be fair.
I'm amazed that WITSEC has not started using foreign countries.
How do you know they haven't?
I don't.
There you go.
But like, you know, half of Thailand could be on WITSEC. You never know it.
It probably is.
Well, no, I'll tell you something about Thailand, dude. You want to go to a bar, every person you're sitting next to used to be a CIA agent, or they used to be everybody's some secret agent, spec ops person.
Got it. They're all in WITSEC.
Allegedly.
Every one of them is. Everybody has their story about how they used to be
Allegedly.
the right hand man to the president.
LeBron
and
says,
to
have
Reagan.
you played Rancho?
No, I haven't played Rancho.
Where's Rancho?
It's the other one.
Up
Oh,
the
in
6 down
Fairfield?
there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
Also,
it's
he's
the
that
sister
kind
club.
of sports guy. He's the other kind of. So he's a
Golf,
golfer.
yes.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
what they were
he's-
talking about this whole time.
Yeah, we're golfing. Because I don't like, dude. The last 2 weeks have been struggle, like just straight struggle. I've probably bust in the last 10 days 800 tables. People they're like, "What do you do here?" I'm like, "I'm the senior general manager." What does that entail? Mostly bussing tables.
Bussing.
Hosting
Mostly
busing
doing
tables.
everybody else's
I get
job.
paid very lot for doing bussing.
I've taken so much grief because we've had like my reservations have been done for like a week now. Like I'm fully booked through the first of the year.
LeBron says, let's do it.
Okay. And I just get people coming at like, you know, one day I turned away 100 people in the first 15 minutes of opening the doors. And just like I got accused of racial profiling. Like I got one dude, I'm like, we're fully committed today. I apologize. Well, what about tomorrow? Well, I'm sorry, sir. We're actually fully committed through the first of the year. Oh, I see how it is. And then he like looks at his friends and like looks down at his dress and then looks at me and like twists his head and he's like, dude, what? It's a fucking ski restaurant, man. I don't care what you fucking dress like. Like,
Wait, is this a man dress or?
no,
Yeah,
no,
I was,
like,
I was trying to
like-
figure out, was he in like a
He's
summer
not
summer
wearing
jumper?
a dress.
What?
He's just wearing normal mountain garb.
He was wearing like he was a fucking townie wearing like beat up ski clothes.
Oh.
Who cares?
So he had boardies and flops
I'll
on.
call the girls that beat us last time.
Perfect. I want vengeance.
So boardies and flops, beanie, puffy jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, there was an article. This
We're
dude
not
was
allowed
now
to say
driving
puffy. We're not allowed to say puffy. We'll get
puffer.
banned.
They're puffers.
God, we can't say
Too
weed
much
anymore.
baby oil. Too much baby oil. to say
Yeah.
puffy.
So there's a guy who just wrote an article. He used to come up and ski bum up here from the Bay Area. Now he goes all the way down to Mammoth to ski bum because he goes, all it is rich people from the Bay Area and angry ass townies. I'm like,
Not wrong.
yeah, I mean that's accurate.
That's
Factually
an accurate
accurate.
assessment of Lake Tahoe.
Are you an angry townie?
I don't
Depending
think
on the
so.
day?
I don't think so. I mean, listen, I have moments where I'm angry, but Cameron can.
Oh, you?
Like it doesn't matter whether I'm a townie or a tourist. Like if you step on the wrong side of me, there's a price.
Let's be fair. Lane is one of those old cowboys that makes fun of people who come in from New York City.
I mean, in all
You get
fairness,
this
too,
salsa from New York City?
He's
I
like,
poke that bear constantly to see what happens.
he just sits there, he's like, goddamn fucking wannabe cowboys from New York City just come down to my motherfucking ranch.
I would never claim to be a cowboy. I actually in my family there are those people that own ranches and do real work. I would never claim to be one of them. Like I bitch
dude,
about what
that
I
shit's
do.
hard.
They work fucking hard.
Oh yeah, they put in hours
Oh yeah.
and hard work.
And they've got that like I've been doing real work since I was 5 strength. Where you're like you shake their hand and you're like, oh, this is serious now.
Somebody's been tossing bales
They're
since they were 5.
They're like, where's Barton Hospital? So they can accidentally chop my hand off after it got broken because like Barton Hospital has the worst record for sewing people's digits on wrong.
For the record, they have been the voted best hospital 4 years in a row, according to the sign outside the Lakeside Inn.
Who's their competition?
The what Lakeside Inn? There is.
Oh, Barton bought that land. They're building a hospital there if they ever get through the permitting process.
Oh God, I hope they never do.
So does everybody else.
Yes.
Now, then they'll have 2 locations to kill you.
Yeah, for real. They can
Stay on
hire
the
me
Nevada
though.
side and
I'll
wait.
probably be able to figure it out for them.
I mean, listen, orthopedics nail it every time.
Yes.
Lit-
If you break a knee,
Literally anything else. Probably go to Reno.
go.
if you dislocate something, they'll probably be, you'll be all right.
They did a great job on my knee. Both
Yeah.
knees, actually.
Isn't it, that's orthopedic.
Fucking 30 years apart.
That was a mechanic. Get it right.
That was a mechanic.
Yeah. Bud the mechanic with his plasma torch.
Don't worry, we fixed your knee right at.
Yeah. We know you didn't go to fucking Barton. You went across the street to the freaking Kingsbury Auto. Don't try to lie.
Well, welcome Cameron to one of their many running jokes.
Yes, he is T9. He is the Terminator.
Okay, that the original version though as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's
Or
It's
give me your
Our
clothes.
our other ongoing one is if we're on the course or on the driving range at golf, we watch him hit it, and then we say, "There goes another satellite."
It's worse now. I
Yeah.
gotta get those irons reshafted. All right.
That's right. So, LeRon, you still got a chance to beat him. Got to keep our streak going strong.
Putt champion 05 over there.
The Ebony and Ivory champions of 2024.
Jesus H. Christ.
I'm just saying.
Jesus.
I thought
Not
that's what
just
we
Jesus
agreed that
Christ,
was what the
Jesus
tournament was
Christ.
called.
Listen, the Ebony and Ivory Classic, sponsored by High Sierra Cigars.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Wow.
We need to get, when are you gonna be back in the country next time, Bowman?
It depends on whether I get the tour in Kazakhstan or if I don't get that, then I'll be coming back to work with Burning Man,
Okay.
or doing logistics with Gate. But until then, I'm here in in Cambo.
When would you be coming? When would you be getting back here? Like late August, mid August.
So I'd have to be out in Black Rock City for 2 months.
Oh God.
So I'll be there. I'll probably roll through Tahoe, I would guess, in late May, or probably June, I guess, if that's the case, if that's what happens.
So, do you book like a shipping container to smuggle yourself back into the country with, or?
Right. No, not this time.
Dude,
I've human trafficked myself enough.
No.
But,
Cameron, you need to understand. Like, so when you called me in law school,
Oh yeah.
and you were like, "I have a question," and in the back of my head, I'm like, "Well, this should be good."
oh God.
And you were like, "I'm overstayed on my visa by a little bit, 1,565 days or whatever it was."
Yeah.
So,
5 days
couple
later,
years.
I got caught.
And you go, "What should I do?" I'm like, first of all, not a lawyer. Second of all, I don't know in what world you think I would have studied Thai immigration law in an American law school. But
Yeah.
that said, not legal, hashtag not legal advice. You should sneak to the American embassy in the middle of the night and tell them to get your ass out of there.
Yeah.
And you gave me a bunch of flack. And then I remember the second phone call because this was the best part of the story. Because I'm like, no, Cameron has a better plan. And they're like, what's that? And I go, it literally involves a slow boat to China.
That is true.
Again, factually
Okay.
accurate.
To preface this all, though, it was not my fault.
I mean,
It was.
okay.
It was. I hired a visa agent named Nigel David Wells, and
Wells, that's what it is.
he literally took the money in my passport, and then just the guy was just, it's hard to explain, but that guy
He rabbited it, got it.
wasn't just me. When there was a point where
Oh, puppers.
yeah, a palm branch fell down.
I thought he was getting swatted.
No. No, I'm on, dude.
Great
I'm
content
like
right
so
there.
far. I'm so far above board these days, dude. I'm so far above board these
Tell
days.
us where Diddy is.
Show us on the doll where Diddy is. He's in here. Oh.
Where did he hurt you?
He had too much baby oil. It didn't hurt that bad. It was just weird.
So ridiculous.
He just kept saying shh in my ear.
And then there was this other guy. I think his name was Jay something. Maybe Z. Oh no.
He said it's okay. It's only gonna feel rough for a second.
Dude, I did love that one.
He said you
fucking-
got 99 problems and my dick is one, is what he said.
Dude, I did love that one fucking bit after fucking Jesse Smollett did his fucking nonsense. And who was it? Was it fucking
Chappelle.
Chappelle? Yeah, and he's all black guy, MAGA hat, MAGA. Hey, Jerry, come over here. Where was Kanye West last night?
I don't know, how does Kanye look like the most sane person now? When did that change?
Dude, the world has gone insane. He will be the next president.
The world
dude.
has forgotten
It'll
about
literally
Kanye.
look like Idiocracy. Have you seen anybody seen the movie Idiocracy?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
He'll literally be like President Camacho. That'll be Kanye West just being like, "I'm God. Y'all motherfuckers are in my game." People are gonna be like, "Oh my God, that guy can literally kill the entire world."
Yeah.
That's,
How did Terry
terrifying.
Crews not run for president?
Electrolytes. It's what plants crave.
Like
How did
Terry Crews could have totally ran for president.
He
this
probably
last
would've
election.
got
Oh, yeah. He could run as Camacho
As
to
Camacho
be
Mountain
Camacho.
Dew, and fucking, he would totally. I would have voted for him.
That might be the next Brewster's Millions. Like, just a write-in campaign for Camacho Mountain Dew. They're like, I guess Terry Crews is president now.
Yeah, man. So about the coming back to the States, I don't know. It depends because I've got a lot of stuff going on out here. I'm the marketing director for this. It's pretty much the coolest nightclub out here, in my opinion. They're called X Bar.
X Bar.
Yeah,
Sponsored
X
by
Bar.
Elon Musk.
So I mean, well, it was opened in 2008, and he is an Elon Musk fan. But yeah, it's got a rooftop skate vert ramp that overlooks the whole main part of the deck. It's like if you could imagine where it's at, it's like essentially where McPee's is now.
Okay.
If you think about like how this town's laid out and what's important, it's like McPee's is right there, and then after that is all the madness, like the casinos. But
Okay.
it's right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So it's called Pub Street here, and he's right on the corner. Guy named Carlo, and dude, it's a super cool. It's a 3-story nightclub, and he's like the last guy holding down like underground, like deep house, tech house, techno, stuff like that, trying to hold on because there's this other group called I'm not gonna name them because then they'll get more famous, but there's a whole group that's like trying to take over this town that nobody wants. It's like they're like Veil. If you can imagine that.
We're like
back in the
group
day,
in
there
Vegas
was-
back in the day.
Yeah, so I mean, before we had American Ski Company, which was cool and everybody loved it, and it was like that movie where the snowboarding movie Out Cold or something like that. It was like super cool in Tahoe, and then Vail came in, and then just like I was like, okay, well now we're no longer we're no longer Tahoe anymore, are we? But yeah, so this guy's kind of the last holdout. But yeah, it's a fun place, man. If you guys ever come out here, you definitely would enjoy it, I think.
Well, you said he was going to try and open a cigar shop, right?
Well, so now he's thinking about it. So I told him I'd introduce you to him. He's already got a humidor that can, I don't know how many cigars it can hold, but I told him like, yeah, it's like I'll introduce you to him because he's like, I don't really know what to stock it with because I've been out of he hasn't really thought about that stuff for a long time. So
yeah, we can set him up.
You might have the High Sierra Cigar Lounge, and then you might also have a CM Reef Cigar Lounge coming soon. I don't know. But yeah, cool place if you like to dance. Not that you guys probably do, because I don't know. There's probably reasons for that.
Have you seen Friends? You've seen Friends, right?
Oh God,
You
I feel, like
remember
Cameron,
Monica
I feel like
dances?
Cameron might have gone out of his way to not see Friends.
I feel like he's seen
I
it
think
though.
I think I saw one. Oh, okay. So there's this movie that came out recently called Leave the World Behind or something like that with Julia Roberts.
Sounds.
And
yeah.
I'll ruin the entire ending for it.
Go ahead.
The girl ends up
Spoilers.
getting
We're not
to
gonna
watch
watch it.
Friends. Yeah, it's actually not a bad movie. But the little girl like is obsessed with watching the last episode of Friends, and can't do it because the world is essentially ending. Because America is falling to a foreign enemy that they don't know, of course, as every single fucking thing seems to be on Netflix right now, is that America's dying and everything. But yeah, Friends.
It's common
So
plot
I
line at this
did
point.
technically see the 5 seconds of the end of Friends, the last episode.
Yeah, I was
of
just
Friends.
thinking about how Monica dances. That's basically us right there, just flailing around.
Isn't that basically a Seinfeld joke?
Kind of, yeah.
Who in the fuck is Monica?
First of all,
She's off of Friends.
it's a sitcom after Seinfeld. They're all Seinfeld jokes.
Yes.
I actually used to, because Cameron's like, I've never seen Seinfeld, but he would make jokes, and I'm like, this is a Seinfeld joke, and he's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I mean, Seinfeld is definitely one of the most influential comedians underneath that people don't even realize has influenced them.
Yeah. No,
You
I
know,
agree.
even just that even that bass line that they created as the opening of the show is just so genius, because it's like all the other shows are doing all this crazy stuff, and this guy's like, you know what we can do with this? 3 notes on a bass guitar.
Yeah,
and it'll be the
basically a
most
cold
famous
open
song
into
ever.
a fucking bass line.
And then the guy literally goes, the bass player, I'm sure, is like, thank you for the $200,000. Bye bye.
Yeah.
It's like, we need a jingle. He's like, boom, boom. And they're like, it's perfect.
Well, it
Thank
was
you.
like, dude, Jeannot used to tell the story of the dude that did the Powell Peralta logo. And they paid him like $30K. And his fucking toddler was like, finger paints. And he delivered it. And they're like, what the fuck is this? And he's like, it's your logo. Where's my money? And they were pissed. And it's still one of the most recognizable logos ever.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. I mean, well, it's like that fucking stupid Nike swoosh, mate. They're like, the whole Nike story is crazy that even worked. You know?
Oh, yeah.
It's insane.
I mean, I'm not sure how well Nike would have worked less Michael Jordan.
It wouldn't have at all.
Because,
I
I
don't-
mean,
I
it
don't
was
think
like...
Nobody
listen,
would care.
Nike was a thing, sort of. And then, you know, Jordan showed up and it became Nike.
Well, they searched him out. Like, I guess there's a movie about it now, isn't there? With
Yes.
what are those 2 fucking fags called? Matt Damon. Oh wait, I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to say that. And when I say fags, I
talking
do
about
not mean gay
cigarettes,
people.
right?
I mean
Cigarettes.
people that ride very loud motorbikes. South
Dude,
Park
every
reference.
time someone brings up Matt Damon, all I can hear is fucking Team America.
Matt Damon.
Like, they did him so dirty in that movie.
Dude, were you there when we screened it?
Team America?
Yeah.
No, I missed that
I can't
screening.
remember if you were or not.
No,
'Cause,
I missed that
I
one.
remember so the
I
trailer
remember hearing
came,
about it afterwards.
So the trailer came, and I put it on. I think it was Morgan was there, and it was this fucking terrible movie with Sean Connery. What was the worst movie Sean Connery ever did?
League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
That's the one. That was it. And so no, that was totally that was 100% it, dude. And
I mean,
so I'm in
technically
there.
it's the other one, but
Still better than most movies coming out
It's
now.
better than dude. Zardoz was way better than that one. Zardoz was like on another level compared. But so I built the movie, and then usually when I did the private screenings, I would just build trailers on there just to see what they were and see how they were.
Yeah.
And our company didn't want us to even play that trailer, and I put it on, and I had the Red Band trailer, and it opens up, and it's like it's like George Bush. And like all these different crazy names, Lawrence Fishburne, like it's whoa. I'm like, what the fuck is this movie? and then it's like, are gonna be really pissed off when they see this movie. and then it's like Samuel L. Jackson as a puppet, like fucking going around. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit, dude?
It's a highly entertaining movie. My biggest issue is I can't watch it now. Like I try to watch it recently, and it doesn't hold up. But all the jokes are there, and it's still funny. I just can't watch it.
The soundtrack, dude. The soundtrack is America, fuck yeah. I was so waiting for Donald Trump to walk out to that at the Republican convention.
I just like their interpretation of how they speak. Durka, durka, durka. Durka, durka, jihad, durka.
I, Durka, Durka. Durka, 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 Durka. No, Durka, Durka. Durka. It's like fucking... And so I had that trailer on, and we have like 20 or 30 people in the pre-screenings. We used to like let the homies come hang out. And
it used to be an event. When it was up here, I wasn't around when it was up here much. Like I was after that. Like Morgan had already gone to Samoa and gone crazy.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, I didn't think about that. But yeah. So Morgan's sitting there, and so the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen comes on, right? And I'm like watching it, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like the first 5 minutes. I'm like, this is really horrible. And Morgan just he just stands up. He's smoking a cigar, by the way. So he's smoking a cigar in the fucking theater, and so am I, because, dude, I had the keys to the kingdom. We could do whatever the hell we wanted.
Yeah.
So Morgan did as well. So it was like he's just sitting there smoking the cigar, and he stands up and he turns around and he was like, well, I've made an incredible mistake. Have a good evening. and he just fucking walked out of the movie. we had bourbon and fucking everything you could possibly want in there, man. We had like, we could have lobster served in there if we wanted to back then. I'm not even joking. Like there was a point where I was running the movie theater and I was banned from entering fucking Horizon. I could not even enter the casino.
I made a terrible mistake.
Yeah.
Dude,
I made a terrible mistake, and he just like, have a good evening. Just walks out with his cigar.
So he texts me every once in a while, right? And he texts me, I know it's got to be 6 months ago. And we're talking back and forth, and I was bitching about fucking, because Fuente's quality control is trash right now. And I was bitching about Fuente. And he goes, like, in the text, he's like, oh, well, you want me to just text Carlito and fucking let him know you're having problems? Like, I don't think he'd appreciate that. I think we're okay. He's like, no. Like, we talk every day. You want me to let him know? I was like, wait. You talk to Carlito Fuente every day? He's like, oh, yeah. We're friends. Like, we text all the time. Like, a bunch of, like, every day, multiple times. Like, but how the fuck did you meet Carlito Fuente? Like, how did that happen? Like, that dude, listen, like, Holdren should have been famous. Like, I have no explanation for your life. I have less explanation for the situations that Morgan Wolf has gotten himself into.
Yeah, dude. He's magnificent. He's to explain Morgan Wolf, you have to understand that this guy literally, for his bachelor party, we're in Vegas, right? And he's like, he has this brilliant curly hair, and he has these beautifully manicured long fingernails for whatever reason, and they're not fake. and he's like, he looks like Weird Al Yankovic's son.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go up to this strip club, and I'm like talking to Morgan, and he's like, we should just tell people I'm Weird Al Yankovic's son. And I was like, okay, then I'll say I'm your security detail.
Yeah.
And Holdren's there, and Holdren's like, yeah, I'll just tell him I'm a famous country singer or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, you do that. I'll just I'll just act the part that I play. So we get out, and I start acting like security, and we get into this place, and it was like they wouldn't even let us in, and then they were like, I was like, excuse me, and Morgan's like, being cool and whatever, and then he's like starts to flip out a little bit. I'm like, Mr. Yankovic, can you please just I'll deal with this. And they're like, what do you mean, Mr. Yankovic? Like, oh, this is Paul Yankovic. It's Weird Al Yankovic's son. I'm his security detail. He's here in Vegas. He's about to get married. This is his bachelor party. And they're like, oh, we're so sorry, sir. And they like they take the thing off, and then they let us all in, right? And we go in, and then at some point there's like Morgan's like getting a lap dance, and fucking Holdren is
doing Holdren things.
Well, he's not getting a lap dance. He's just like telling his life story to a stripper,
crying,
and talking about how he's going to be super famous and that she should know him and whatever. And I'm just there as security detail, right? And then at some point the jig is up, and they realize this is not Weird Al Yankovic's son. and they've given us all this stuff for free, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is going to go bad. And so the manager comes to me, and he's like, hey, you come with me now. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, here we go. This is going to be fun. So I go with him, and he's like, yo, that's not Weird Al. There is no Paul Yankovic. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but you wouldn't let us into the club anyway. And he was like, clever. But problem is, we've given you a lot of things, and you're gonna need to pay for them. And I'm like, what? And so they literally take me over with like the whole security and make me go to their ATM, and I had to take out all the money in my ATM, in my bank account, and fucking give it to them for us to be able to leave the strip club. That's how they were gonna just hold us in the strip club. So I ended up for Morgan's bachelor party paying for like lap dances that I never even had. Because I was acting as the security guard, right? So, but yeah, I mean, Morgan probably has this. I imagine he would be a good guest on here too, man. He's hilarious. But yeah, that's Morgan the Wolf. That's what we call him.
Morgan the Wolf.
Morgan, you'd have to beat him to understand. Like it fits.
It sounds like it fits so far.
But he never wears the wolf T-shirt, which is important. For
reasons
that don't matter here.
Very, yeah, because he doesn't fuck children. So that's yeah, Morgan the Wolf. And the reason I named him that is because he the character in the Reservoir Dogs, because he was like the wolf mate. There was a night in Wallace Theaters that where he figured out that one of the employees had been fudging the numbers, and that there was like $13,000 in stock missing.
Damn.
And corporate was coming down like the next day, and so he's like, God, should I tell this story, Lane, or do you think Morgan will want to kill me?
I mean, I don't. Yeah.
We'll save it for another episode.
I mean, it's outside the statute of limitations, but Morgan is a human being I have a certain appreciation for.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, it was genius. I'll just put it this way. He found an extremely clever way to solve this problem inside of 20 hours with myself and my team of people. Yeah, he came up with a genius solution.
Minus some small health code violations.
Minor.
It ain't a crime if you don't get caught. But
it's not a war crime the first time.
Dude, Cameron, have you ever watched The Fat Electrician on YouTube?
No. Oh, is it the Kevin James thing or no?
Mm-mm.
Oh, that's the sound guy thing. Sorry,
he's a military historian.
Really? And he calls himself the Fat Electrician.
Well, yeah, because he was an electrician before he was on YouTube.
Because he's fat and he's an electrician.
Yeah. Dude, they're fantastic. Like they're brilliant. Yeah. Like his stories are so good.
I imagine being a fat electrician, you could get yourself into a lot of interesting positions, especially if you're in the event industry.
Well, so he's getting a history degree, and he was in the army. So he started researching all these random stories from the army, and he like fully researches them and then tells the story.
Okay.
But he's got all these little sayings like, it's never a war crime the first time, or like,
Absolutely.
whoever he's talking about, he'll be like, well, and like so the one where he's talking about the Iranian Navy is hilarious. So rule number 1, it turns out, in American warfare is don't fuck with America's boats. Because it never goes well.
Well,
But there was, what's that?
I mean, technically, isn't that where the whole, like, when the Moors, this was during the, like, 1770s, when the Moors took ships from, the Arabs took a bunch of ships from Jefferson or whatever, and then they literally were like, we're going to come back and we will obliterate your entire...
Yeah,
we'll literally kill all of you.
In fact,
they
the
took
creation
like, a bunch of Americans as slaves.
of the United States Navy, and probably the first Special Forces unit came out of that little encounter.
Yeah. Little. Yeah, it wasn't that little.
It's funny because they were talking about, like, part of it, a couple of them went in, they were like hundreds of miles from where they needed to be. And they're like, but they needed soldiers. And like, well, we're going to go in here and we're going to recruit these people because they don't like them either. And then we're going to march up and we're going to take them here. And then you can attack them from the ocean on this side. And to sign off on the order, they're like, well, I mean, this is really cool. Like, we're probably never going to get to do this again. And then the fat electrician pipes in. He's like, because we were never going to create an entire special forces unit dedicated to exactly this endeavor. Yeah. I was just, dude, it's hilarious. So like, he'll say things like, he'll be like, and Iranian Navy soldier number 1 decided to try and plot or don the plot armor like they were the main character. Yeah.
So while we're on the subject, what, like, Casey, what's your, like, let's suggest some podcasts that we think that each of us think are cool. You want to do you want to mention like a podcast or two and talk about why?
I mean, I really just watched Fat Electrician and that group of guys, the unsub guys. Like, that's all I really watch.
Unsub's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Dude, you're terrible at plugging things.
Yeah. Dude, the best, I don't watch unsub as much anymore.
I mean, come on.
The best unsub
All right, so
story
Kevin,
ever.
Kevin, then.
Distractable is a good one that I like to watch. 3 guys come together, bullshit around. They're mainly gamers, but they put on these games that they play against each other. Points don't matter. One of them wins, and then the next one puts on the next episode. But they got some funny material in there.
So, gaming podcast. What a surprise!
It's surprisingly, it's not about gaming. It's 3 gamers that come together and just bullshit around, kind of like we do in here. And then they have a little game that they put on between themselves. Like they did a Would You Rather, and it was entertaining.
I don't know what that means, but all right. Would you rather talk about a gaming podcast or
would you rather listen to Cameron speak nonsense?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I've been waiting for you to come back at me for a while, mate.
I'll get there.
I know it's coming. I know it's coming. But
have you tried the George T. Stag yet? Oh, sorry, Cameron. I totally cut you off.
I have not. I haven't finished my other ones. I'm savoring them because, well, I haven't eaten other than ice cream today. Because I promised my fat kid I would take him for ice cream if he didn't cry during that episode where he was getting stitched up.
Oh, yeah. Kevin's kid, Cameron, had a eye wound like you gave Chad that night.
He fought 17 Mexicans, get it right.
Yeah. It happens to all of us, right? It's a rite of passage.
Well, how could you just sit by and let your kid fight 17 Mexicans?
Oh, he had it. He only got 1 nick. He was fine.
Can't believe you'd do that.
Dude, that George T is on a whole nother level.
I'll get there.
Whole nother level. Cameron, what were you about to plug? What's your podcast? You
I don't
than
have
Kill
a podcast.
Tony.
Oh, my favorite podcast? There's a couple. Obviously, Kill Tony, as you just said, is definitely my addiction. But there's one that actually kid that I went to high school with, Chad Briscoe, and it's Briscoe Travel, and it's really cool. He like documented his whole, like, this guy is so good at documenting his own, like, just life, not just his but other people's. And he has this Briscoe Travel channel, and it's actually, especially if you're ever going to travel to Asia, it's like really useful because he puts in a lot of things, but he's super funny and he's ridiculous, and it's overproduced, to be honest.
I didn't realize he had traveled to Asia.
Yeah, dude. So this is the whole thing. He met his now wife on a Filipina dating app while he was
After
after Aubrey.
Yeah, I say after he drove his first wife so crazy she ended up in a cult.
Yes,
That's amazing.
That's pretty much correct.
That's a whole nother level of frustration. And for the record, one I would have ascribed to you, Cameron, and not Briscoe.
Yeah, well, as it turns out. But it's so he was like cruising around California and literally using what's that app? The one where you Tinder as a place to find places to sleep, because he's a real good looking guy and he's super charming. So he was doing that while he was like trying to, restack cash after the divorce and all that. And then he ends up meeting somebody, turns him on to this Filipina dating app, and he meets this girl on it that's in the Philippines, and he's got plenty of cash. And so he drops his entire life, flies to the Philippines to go meet this girl. And there's a whole movie he wrote about it, and there's a website for it. It's called The Prince of Palawan. But he tracks the journey with her. It's an interesting podcast to watch. But yeah, he's got his own studio in his house and stuff like that.
I'll have to look it up. I didn't know he was doing that.
Yeah, Briscoe Travel. So on YouTube. Actually, I think I talked to him and he said he wanted to come on the podcast. So maybe next week we might be able to get him on if you guys want him.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sure we can fucking work something out.
Yeah, I mean, he's way funnier than I am, dude. he's a super funny guy to talk to, and he's got lots of stories. Oh man, I mean, like when Mark knocked me out cold, he's got video of it as well of when Mark knocked me out cold.
I didn't know Mark knocked you out.
Oh well, many times, but this time was very specific. We were it was winter up in, like, it was like super crazy snowstorm winter, early 2000s, and Mark was up on the roof, and he took a giant chunk of ice and he threw it down on me and hit me and dislocated my shoulder with it. And then I turned around and he was up on the roof, and I was like, I'm gonna kill you. And then Mark jumped off the roof, and then my shoulder went back in the socket, and we proceeded to go into a melee, which involved breaking the entire banister, like the whole railing of the deck, and then me getting knocked out by Mark and laying in the snow. And Briscoe walks out with the camera, and he's like, "What's going on here?" And I'm like, "My brother's knocked me out, I think." It's hilarious, dude. If you ever meet Mark, dude, Mark is a.
I don't know why though. They know Mark.
Yeah, we met Mark.
Yeah, Mark's rad.
But I mean for the listeners, you know.
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah. I don't know why you were fighting a superhero, but good on you.
Well, because I grew up fighting a superhero my whole life, which is why that's the only reason I can hold my own. Like it's,
Adam could
that
say
guy
the same
used
thing.
to, dude. When we were kids, dude, I love him, man. It was kind of one of those things where nobody could ever fuck with me except for him.
Yeah.
Like if anybody tried to fuck with me, they'd be dead. But but me and him, he can just put it in, But that guy's done nothing but support me my whole life, dude. And also beat the shit out of me sometimes when I needed it. Sometimes I needed a recorrection in course, so Mark would give it to me with fists.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that's what you need.
Listen,
I needed it.
Mark doesn't fuck around.
No.
Yeah.
No. There's like Mark is the strong, silent, quiet type. He's a beautiful dude. He's like got that tall, dark, and handsome, long hair. He's a 5-star chef who has accomplished more in his life than most people, and he's super humble, and he doesn't really talk much, but when he wants to, he'll talk, and when he wants to, he'll fucking fight. There's no doubt about that. There was one time when Holdren picked a fight with Sean Takahashi, who passed away, unfortunately. And then we were in the Horizon, and we went to the pool, and the two of them were supposed to fight, and I was going to referee to make sure that, if anybody else jumped in or something. And of course, Holdren and Sean Takahashi are both fucking pussies. they just talk, they talk their way out of it. And then there's like 30, 40 people there that I brought there to watch this fight. And everybody's like, oh man. And I just looked at Mark and I was like, what do you think? And he was like, yep, let's do it. And so Mark and I just started fighting.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what? Then people surround us. And then Mark took me down. I was able to reverse position and I went to punch him. Like I almost had him. And he moves his head at the perfect minute. And I broke the metacarpal right here on the concrete. And then Mark grabbed me by the throat and threw me around. And he was just like, blah, 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 just killing me on the ground, dude.
Is this before or after the front handspring that dislocated both your shoulders?
Before.
Okay. I was like, because after, it's not really fair.
Yeah. That was a bad day. That was not, I kind of forgot that, you shouldn't do things like that on concrete.
I was fucking telling stories at some point about you and like our past. Someone was like, I was like, yeah, like there was one time, like we were mad at each other and you'd said something about like you were a trained fighter and I'm not. And I freely tell people that you've actually fought. And they're like, well, why are you so fucking willing to stand up to him? It's like, well, because I've dislocated his shoulder by shaking his hand.
That is true.
No. That's not exaggeration. It happened. It's like, I know the weak spots. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I did at the time.
Yeah, they've changed now. I have more of them.
I'm more beat up than I used to be.
Yeah, that last fight in Thailand was not the best for my left leg, but it was fun. I still enjoyed it.
Dude, I love the story, like the YouTube videos of like Eddie Hall getting kicked by a 9-year-old kickboxer. Because like the pro is like, well, I'm not going to because, that'd be problems for you. But this 9-year-old will do it. And he's like,
yeah,
what?
So good.
And the 9-year-old kicks him through a pad and he's like, fuck off, you little brat.
Yeah, dude. Have you seen the one where the guy asked Chuck to he asked Chuck to give him an uppercut to the liver, I think is what it was. There should be video out there, Kevin.
Dude, anyone that would ask someone to do that has never seen the effects of a proper liver punch.
Well, also they've never stood across the cage from Chuck fucking Liddell, dude. Like I've trained in the same rooms with that guy, and it's like when he was in the cage, and I didn't spar with Chuck because I'm not crazy. I'm not insane, but Preston and Cruz definitely did, and the sound of him hitting somebody at 30% is like it just rattles your bones, dude. I can't imagine what it feels like to beat Tito Ortiz.
I tell people, like when I'm explaining what professional fighters are, I'm like, look, it's not like forget what you think it is or what you see. Like the gym, proper UFC gym, was down a hall. It was in an old strip mall, down a hall to the front door, and then the bags were on the complete far side of the gym from the front door. And before you got to the actual gym doors, when you open the doors to the mall to walk down the hallway to get to the gym, to then walk across the full gym to where the bags were, when one of those guys was doing bag work, you knew it was one of those guys. Like there was no
John
guessing.
Hackelman Jr., dude. John Hackelman Jr. When he would hit the bag, dude, it was like shocking. I mean, it was I think I still have that on photography. I think I was because we were planning on having him be season 2. I think with
Yeah.
Uriah Faber.
Mm-hmm.
Was it supposed to be Uriah Faber and oh no, it's going to be Uriah Faber and Gan McGee was going to be the second season.
Dude,
But
Gan.
we never got
Explaining
that
Gan
far.
to people is tough for me because I'm like, he's legitimately like one of the nicest people you've ever met until you do something stupid.
Dude, Gan, I was his rolling partner a couple times, dude, and it was so funny. He was just like, he'd let me play around and try to do something, and the second I'd try to do it, he'd just flip me over, and he'd just be sitting there holding me in an arm triangle choke and just laughing in my face. He's like, and I'd be kicking around trying to get out, and he's just holding me. He's not choking me. He's just like, I could. I'm just
dude,
gonna hold you here. There's nothing you can do about it.
For
He's
most people,
6'9".
yeah, 300 pounds. Like for most people, like someone that can actually roll jits that's 6'9" and strong is terrifying.
Oh, dude, for 98% of the human population, that's terrifying. Like, yeah, Gan also has a killer liver kick. That guy's, he's,
Yeah, but
he
I mean,
was,
his
he
wingspan
fought
was.
for the championship once. He fought Tim
They
Sylvia.
lost to
I think.
knock knees.
Yeah,
Fucking
Tim
Tim,
Sylvia.
whatever.
Tim Sylvia. Yeah,
Yeah.
the worst best UFC champion is, and he was the most boring fucking champion to watch ever. But he held the championship for quite a while.
Well, yeah, but then he got busted for steroids.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they should have 2 leagues. One that allows all the steroids and one that doesn't. Because you ever watched Vitor Belfort when he was like fully roided? I was like, dude, that's what I want to see.
Well, this dude,
I want to watch a guy that's just a monster.
I can't
just
speak to
killing
UFC,
people.
but like so many professional athletes walk that path.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's how my pop died. Realistically, he was. That's the reason his heart exploded was because he was runner-up for Mr. California, Mr. Senior California, the last time. But I mean, he'd been doing roids for off and on for a long time, so he had an enlarged heart. So it's there's an unfortunate side effect that comes with that stuff.
Oh yeah, this stuff's. I mean, I love now that like all the guys that like. There's a bunch of guys on YouTube that are just talking about it openly. They're like, here are the costs, here are the benefits. Like this is the deal. And if you want to look like this is what this is the price you're going to pay.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting to see. I'm very much liking the direction in general that media is going now post-election and all that, because a lot of people would rather watch podcasts and actually learn something for real. There's a lot of people that'll actually, like, if you ever watch the one with the Undertaker, I forget what it's called, but he has his own podcast, and it's really, he brings on all the different wrestlers and they talk about the different stuff they went through, and like that stuff super extreme. Like, wrestling's obviously fake, but also there's a very, very real component to it.
Yeah, I mean, the physicality of it's not fake.
No, especially for guys that size, mate. And the roid usage and all the different stuff. And back in the day, having to cut yourself and all the different stuff. It's pretty insane world to live in.
Thumbtacks in the back.
Yeah. What was the wrestler? What was it with Mickey Rourke?
Yeah, the wrestler. Yeah, that was a hell of a movie.
Yeah,
that was a really good movie. Yeah, that was when I was doing that was when I was running the Palm Theater.
Yeah, I remember. I remember screening that movie.
Yeah, that was one of and we had the Palm Wednesday series. I'm sure you remember that. That was like
dude, that was one of those movies I remember. Like, there are certain movies, like certain books, certain movies that you walk out and there's like an emotional cost to watching or reading like that thing, and that was one of those movies.
Hey, Christian, how's it going?
Oh, we got a Christian. Wait, you can't see through Bowman what we're drinking, but it's, you'd like it.
I didn't choose my placement, motherfuckers. You guys put me there.
Oh, yeah. That's on them.
We blame Casey.
Dude, have you tried the fucking George T yet?
I did. It's amazing.
It's fucking phenomenal.
What is it?
So, Stag is a semi-regular release from Buffalo Trace. George T Stag is a once a year. It's part of it's called BTAC. It's the Buffalo Trace NT collection. So it's Igor Rare 17, Sazerac 18, William LaRue Weller, Thomas H. Handy, and George T Stag.
And George T Stag's second hand is about $1,700.
Yeah. So Kevin found a bottle at damn near retail, and we're drinking it right now, and it's phenomenal.
Yes, worth the
Wow.
price. And I think it's actually worth the price they're asking for resale.
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far,
Yeah, that's
I
a
don't
that's a
know.
little much.
but it's good.
How much did you get it for, Kevin?
About $250.
Oh, well, that's fair.
So retail on it's like 169 ish. If you're really lucky, you find it for like the 135 range. Like if you happen to stumble on one at Walmart somewhere, but most places it's
Okay.
like 160 to 170.
Nevada doesn't really get too many of these.
No, almost none.
Oh.
Vegas gets a fair amount.
I got lucky because apparently the Rayleighs out here down in Gardnerville finally gets bottle picks, and I was there. So yeah.
Oh man.
But it's like
Yeah.
it was really nice of him to bring in this bottle and let us drink it because it's phenomenal.
I figured it's gonna be New Year's. Where I'm not gonna be up here, and you guys are gonna be up here probably. But I figured why not? Last podcast of the year. We're doing a stag line. Might as well bring it up, right? Stag.
Yeah, man.
Anyway,
Meanwhile, I'm here drinking Gansbergs because they're the most delicious beer. Gansberg, the most delicious beer that you're ever going to drink if you're in Cambodia.
In Cambodia. That's made by a German guy in
I'd
Cambodia.
also like to mention our other sponsor, Kanshao Super Red Fish Food.
I feel like he's just showing random like
He
Cambodian
literally
products.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
you're
why
reaching
not?
there, bud.
He's like the Big Ash Podcast,
Not sponsored, but
by
sponsored.
Cameron's Tuk Tuk.
Yeah, exactly. We are taking the great and powerful Blue Machine out tonight. We hired a driver to drive it around, and I just got the exhaust fixed on it. So
The
We're gonna
great
be,
powerful blue machine.
What is the Blue Machine?
It's a tuk-tuk. It's all 16 horsepower.
no,
Cameron's
it's a
super
200.
fantastic audio experience in the great blue Tuk Tuk.
Yeah,
all-
it's a 200 cc. So it's,
all,
it's,
right,
it's
all 17
yeah.
horsepower. Sorry.
37, sir. All right.
Ooh.
I mean, how much
Let's
horsepower
get
do you
rid of
really
it.
need in a Tuk Tuk?
A
Well, yeah,
lot.
you don't want to drive them too fast because they're easy to roll.
This is
They're
like
basically a giant three-wheeler.
this
like
is
a
like
giant
electrifying a
All right,
didgeridoo.
so Christian sent a couple having Blue Note
Oh, Blue Note's good.
with cinnamon toast crunch bacon, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Crossroads and switching to Knob Creek 18.
Oh, you know what?
Nice.
I like the Knob Creek 18 a
The
lot.
18's good.
18's good.
I haven't tried the Elijah Craig 18. I've heard
be right
it's a
back.
little low proof. Yeah, man. I've heard it's a little low proof.
Yeah, like under 100.
It's like 90.
Oh,
Oh.
This
That's
is what
pretty
she has.
low.
So BTAC is one of the few outside of Handy, which is always really young.
Wow.
And the Eagle Rare 17, the Sazerac 18 are always like Eagle Rare's 101, Sazerac 18 is usually under 100. But the William Llewellyn and the George T. Stagg have both age and proof, which is very rare.
This George C. Stagg's pretty good.
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
It's pretty damn good, yeah.
Like I really like the middle stag, whatever that one is.
22B.
22B.
Yeah, the 22B was really good.
22B we get quite a bit of.
But
'cause-
this is
yeah.
Yeah, there's still
This
like
is
3 bottles of it
fantastic.
down there.
Yeah, I haven't picked up another one yet. I'm gonna try.
I'll bring in one of those bomb burgers. We can open that next week.
Oh yeah. What was that other one you picked up?
Which one?
From Rayleigh's. You had Dad pick up. It was one of the other bottles you got as well.
Old Rip 10?
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Yeah. Old Rip Van Winkle 10 year.
Yeah.
ooh. Fancy.
Technically part of the Pappy line
fancy.
for 119. Now I just need to sell the other Old Rip Van Winkle that I got on accident, turns out, for way too much money.
Oh man.
Well, you'll get it back.
Yeah, it's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, if we ever get, we're not going to see him again until summer if it doesn't snow.
Yeah, we need some snow.
Really?
I'm not sure I can hold on to that bottle that long.
I mean, it usually snows later on, so probably
Dude,
March
it's
time frame, maybe
Fucking
February, March. Yeah.
dry right now.
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything in the forecast. Like Tahoe's winter is a
nothing.
bust right now.
Nothing.
I will probably, if I get Wednesday off, I will probably go snowboarding.
There you go.
Oh, Friday, we got a little rain.
Oh, rain.
Yay for rain.
Woo.
Rain.
And then
Woo.
it's going to be cold up here on Monday and Tuesday. I have to
Yeah.
drive to Fairfield to golf. Did LeBron check out?
Oh, no, I think he's still there.
I have to drive to Fairfield or Sacramento or somewhere. Like, it's going to be too cold in Carson and Reno.
I thought you were going to the Ranchos.
I will.
Yeah. Sounds like a fun
Go
course.
meet up with Mark. He's down there in Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, Grass Valley. He's in Grass Valley.
Doing what?
Dude, I should get a
He's
hold of him and
a-
have him come up and fucking snowboard a couple days. I got some comp passes.
Yeah, if he's right now, you and him are literally in the identical position.
Yeah.
So, but so Mark left the Claire Tapan Lodge right in time somehow, right before they closed it, and then he's the head chef, basically the general manager for a assisted living facility that's like extremely high dollar in Grass Valley.
Okay.
And when he got there, they were like $20,000 over budget per month. And within a month, Mark got that down to $7, and then I think he's already erased it now.
Nice.
The thing about Mark, you got to understand, is he's extremely like diligent when it comes to that stuff. So he's been working like same as you, like 15, 20-hour days without a day off. He had one day off in like 4 months.
Which one's Mark?
My brother.
Mark was coming in. I don't know, like,
He used to wash the windows.
yeah.
That guy. Got it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That.
Dude, Mark's
He wasn't.
rad,
But
like,
to be fair, he wasn't working for anybody else. That was his own business.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was his own
Yeah,
business.
it was his own business.
dude,
So
Mark
I don't
is
want
one of those
to make
guys-
my brother sound like he was some fucking pussy that ended up washing windows for a living.
Like, if
dude.
you're
Yeah,
one
no,
of
I
Mar-
met him, I
if you're one of Mark's people, he will literally stand between you and fucking anything.
Dude,
And
if
I
there was a
mean
God, he would fight
anything.
God for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he's insanely loyal.
Loyalty's good. You don't see that too much anymore.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Mark's one of those people, dude. If you're one of his people and you're in the shit and you call him, he's coming.
I've gotten 2 emails from Heavenly saying that they've had 8 to 6 inches of snow in the past week on separate days.
8 to 6.
Wow.
6 to 8.
Yeah,
Well,
it's 6 to 8, but he put 8 to 6.
he wrote 8 to 6.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
Who's
did I
saying
read
that?
wrong?
The Christian.
Christian.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Knob Creek's kicking in, so he's spelling backwards.
Yeah, Christian, it's not as impressive as their emails make it sound.
I mean, it's only 6 to 8 inches, and it's probably half of it is what they blew themselves.
No, it was fresh. When I
That
was
is
up there
what
on
they
Christmas
blew. If
morning.
I could blow myself, I imagine I would too.
I bet you would.
Oh my god.
Anybody would. You're a man. Any
Um,
man would do that
Nah,
So
you're reaching there.
Christmas morning,
at least once.
me and my sister found some powder stashes. It was pretty good.
8 and 6 is what he meant.
Oh, 8 and 6 inches.
Okay.
Oh. Yeah. Which is, relative depending on who wrote the email.
Very true.
No, I mean there have been spots, but like I wouldn't go through the trees at Heavenly yet.
The rocks? You wouldn't meander through the rocks?
I mean, okay.
I wouldn't hit Galaxy Glades at this point. It won't
So-
be open anyway, right?
Yeah, it's not open.
It shouldn't be because people would die.
Yes.
Like if I had my teaching board that's up in, like I keep it in my office at North Star. If I had that down here, like I'd probably take that through the trees because if it like, I could punch a hole straight through it and I'd be like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
whatever.
but you just fixed your knee. You don't want to tweak that. Punch a hole through.
But that's the whole
leg.
point of that board is to like get beat up.
Yeah, it's a teaching board.
Yeah, but it's supposed to get beat up, not you.
So that board I got, like that was a Tahoe casino deal. Like the results of Tahoe casinos.
Yeah.
I got it for next to nothing. And the board is cool. Like it's a Burton flight attendant. Like it's a decent board. Not great, but decent. But the bindings on it are the Burton bindings that they don't have a footbed like a traditional like foam footbed. They've got a carbon fiber plate that works like a trampoline. So when you go into carves, you load this trampoline and then it just throws you out at the end. Like they're some of the coolest bindings. They're so unique. Like, but they're super expensive. I paid, I don't know, 1/5 of what they should have cost me.
Ooh, that's a good deal.
It's extremely good
Nice.
deal.
That's like when you found me those alien golf clubs back in the day.
Mhm.
Remember? You were like, you have to buy these. And I was like, okay.
Yeah,
There-
and now
and you
we're
got
all
'em.
Mizunos here.
Yeah, that's
I mean, it was
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know,
Blades.
So anyway, the reason I asked when you were back in the country, not was like when are you coming to like stay in the country, but I want to run a proper golf event, and if you could be here for it, that would be cool.
as a production in a production capacity, or what? What would you
No,
want me
fuck
to
no,
do?
like playing on a team and getting hammered.
Oh,
I've never
but
played.
who's going to
so-
run the event then?
I don't know. We'll figure it out. I mean, if you
Well,
desperately want to run the event, you can.
It's golf. It runs itself.
I mean, I would probably rather golf, but I'll definitely if it's an event that isn't it's your event, I would probably want to make sure that whoever it is that's running it is somebody that I know knows what they're doing.
I know we wanted to film at some point.
Mm-hmm. I want to do,
Also,
I want to do golf
something-
content.
I think golf content's a good idea. I mean, you and I remember we used to. I've seen you. Okay, I've seen Lane melt down,
Oh,
a
they
number
all.
of
I think
times.
Casey has too.
but
I have yet
But-
to see it, but I
but,
will.
like at the golf course meltdown.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I've
no,
uncomfortably
like,
been in the same golf cart with Lane while that's happening.
dude, I have as well, and it was at I think it was Indian Hills or whatever it was, the one that was by Costa or by Cuesta College. What was the name of that one?
Dairy Creek.
Dairy Creek. And I remember the exact hole. Because we went there and played all the time when we were in slow. And I don't know what the fuck was going on that day, but I think you were slicing with pretty much everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
And you were, by the time we got to that hole, which was only I think like the 8th hole or something like that. It was the long par. I think it's par 5 that you have to go across the river on or whatever. And it's all downhill, and it's real hard to get it
Downhill
you
then
can't-
uphill.
Yeah, it's downhill and uphill, and you really can't get it's real tough at that time of year to get the ball to actually stick without rolling into the hazards,
Yeah.
because it's super sharp downhill and then it's uphill, and then so it's a tough hole. And so Lane was just like, you fucking slice this ball, and you fucking he takes his club, and you didn't like do this thing, you just like put it in the ground. And you turned around and you looked at me and you're like, "We're fucking going home." And I was like, I was having myself personally, I was having a pretty good day as far as the golf was concerned. I was like, but like and he's like, "No, fuck that, Bowman. We're going." Well, okay. So you're the one driving anyway. So so we literally drove off the golf course as a result. And we got to the parking lot, and he gets in. We go into his truck that had it wasn't the one that had the 666 on the back. It might have been. I can't remember. But we go into the car, and then he backs out, and he says there's like some asshole in the parking lot, and he's like, "Motherfucker," and it's just like, ugh. And then they get out of the way, and then he starts driving, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, Bowman."
Yeah.
And I was like, "It's all right, man. Let's go to Marty's." And you're like,
I've seen that
Yeah.
motherfucker before. That's when
Dude,
you say it. There's a certain way you say it.
Yeah, the angry Lane motherfucker comes up. It's like,
"You motherfucker."
motherfucker.
There's also a way he uses the word garbage.
That is true.
He goes like this. "That's garbage."
Yes.
It's okay. He has a new one. He calls me and Casey Muppets.
Yeah, well, I mean, that makes sense.
Oh
We're
my
the two
god.
old men in the balcony.
I mean, that's honestly my golf experience when Lane melted down was pretty much similar, but it was like the 4th hole.
It was in fact the 4th hole.
Yeah, it's the 4th hole, and we were at Edgewood.
But it got better.
Yeah, no, because it was like clearly he's evolved, Cameron, from yours, because it was like angry slice, and I just remember we were with Matt. Matt said something, which didn't help, and then he just drove away. Like he verbally drove by, said some shit, and then kept going, and I was like, "Oh great, now I have to get in the cart with Lane." And Lane's like not talking, just driving, hella angry,
Oh yeah,
and it's like
I know
I'm
that
like,
base.
this is the 4th hole. we've got many, many more to go if this is how he's gonna be. And I kind of looked over at him, and I just watched him throw the fucking scorecard out the golf cart. He's like, "Fuck this, let's just have fun."
So he has gotten better.
So therapy. It's good.
I think he then lit up a cigar and was like, "Hang on a minute, let me just." All right, let's play.
I think you even actually, I think you even left your cigar at the hole on the tips.
Well, I probably did.
Because you were smoking a cigar. I remember you were smoking.
Yeah.
You were smoking a Maduro of some kind. I can't remember exactly which one it was. If it was Padron or, but
No, it wasn't.
It was
down
good-
there, down there, I was mostly smoking VSGs.
He'd never leave a Padron.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Because that cigar shop that we used to hang out with, the cigar shop, to be fair, was super cool, but their selection wasn't.
Not great.
It wasn't.
But
it
your
wasn't,
favorite's still the VSG.
I do have an affinity for VSGs.
Yes, you do.
Well, it's like fat kids like cake.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what it is.
I like them.
Yeah, there's always going to be the go-to, right? Like for me, it was Marlboro Menthol Lights.
Yeah.
I
Now
got
it's
the
crack-
Marlboro Red
now it's crack
100s and I
cocaine.
tore the filter off.
Dude, you're going to have to pull out that fucking script and figure out how you described Marlboro Menthol Lights. Because I don't remember the first half. All I remember is the last bit.
Yeah, wrapped in a dusty jean jacket.
Yeah. I don't remember the first half of that, but it was the greatest description of a cigarette I've ever heard.
Oh, this is sponsored by Marlboro Menthol Lights. But I'll ask Briscoe actually, because I think I'm going to talk to him after this, and I'll ask him if he can open it's still in the same briefcase, the original boxes.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll ask him, but they're almost illegible. I write like a doctor.
It was, it was not pretty. So, Christian, first of all, calm yourself. Second of all, it's called the Brown Box Memorandum because he wrote it on brown box drink carriers.
in a train on the Amtrak. Yeah.
Whilst on a train for probably 342 hours.
Oh, that's horrible. It's a long time to be on a fucking train.
Trains take a long fucking time.
Don't care. That's too fucking long.
I think it takes 7 days to get from here to New York.
I'd probably
One way.
fly at that point.
I wish I could see you guys at all because I can't even see what Christian's saying or anything. So I
mean,
can't
you
see.
just pull YouTube up on your phone.
What? I don't have a phone. I haven't had a phone for 10 fucking years.
Yeah, you just
Back
well,
to
you
the
have a
Stone
tablet and a
Age.
laptop, right? Just pull it up on the tablet. You can watch the chat.
That's what we do.
That's not what I do. I force them to read the comments now.
But why can't I? The last time I could see you guys all.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with that.
Oh, there's a button I clicked.
Fucking
I don't know what
Casey.
button that is.
Sorry.
Fucking Casey.
Casey's the computer guy. Lane's the camera guy.
Hey,
I'm just
you know
here
what?
for.
You're lucky we
moral
can hear
support.
you talk, motherfucker. Just
I'm not.
You can
super
shut. You
happy.
can. You are in control. You could shut me up. That is true. But I did go out and make sure that my girlfriend, she went into Australia and she bought me these. To
No,
make sure
dude,
I
it
could
sounds
see
super
better on
good.
the
They sound
podcast.
good.
I'm not super happy with the color effect I
Yeah.
picked on that Sony. So I have a camera that's not we don't normally use for this.
Yeah,
It's
you're
not-
looking a little purple there.
We lost our other Panasonic, so I'm gone to this Sony, and I just haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, it needs to be
Sony's
warmer.
always had a problem with blues and purples,
Mm-hmm.
so you have to color correct it. I'm trying to remember. I don't know which model you have, but you remember when we were shooting photography, I was shooting on that Sony EX1.
Yeah, I can go in and custom color. I just didn't have time. I drove straight here from work, dude. I've been getting smoked.
Well, isn't that supposed to be what Kevin does or something? Like,
No. That's not part of Kevin's.
I don't do
fucking
camera
list.
stuff. I set up a
Kevin-
good chunk of the stuff. and
Kevin's
then
the sound guy.
not even the sound. I just click buttons to switch between me and you.
I did. I'm really proud. I redid. So the Proofonomics thumbnail has been bothering me for a while, and I finally redid it, and I think I'm happy with it. I think.
He thinks it'll change. Don't worry.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I know.
reshoot the background because I'm gonna actually shoot it instead of using a stolen
Image.
through whiskey photo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna actually take the macro lens that I have and shoot through a whiskey bottle up close.
I think this will give that amber hue you're looking for.
There's too much stuff on the bottle.
Yeah, we could peel something off.
Just do a sample pour. Use one of those.
The way you just said Amber, like who is Amber? That sounded like
well,
personal.
What is Amber? Why is Amber?
It's like
We
he
have
was
one
like,
of those
got
Have you
that
ever
good
been
old
dumb enough
Amber
to date
hue.
an Amber?
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Casey,
sexy,
we have
that
one of them.
Amber
We
hue.
know. She just got married.
I know a few Ambers. They're all crazy.
They got just married.
Unfortunately, everybody does, and yes, they all are.
They're all
Yes.
crazy.
Ambers and Jennifers.
The Athenas aren't any better.
Oh, I can.
Shit!
Don't
Wait,
even get news.
that hits home, doesn't it, Cameron?
Oh man,
Wow.
it is.
Low blow.
Yeah, that is the craziest name on planet Earth.
It was
100%.
Yeah.
Jennifer. Oh my god,
Dude, that was a running joke in high school and college, and it just put it together with, Jen.
Well,
Wait,
she ain't
is-
no Jen, bro.
Comfortably the craziest Jen I've ever met, which is saying a lot.
She's probably comfortably okay, so when I first brought Adele to the States, I went up and went to the my parents' house, Perry's house.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the one that passed away. And my mom was supposed to be there, but she wasn't there because Jennifer had kidnapped her and taken her to Vegas because I was there as a surprise. And somehow Jennifer figured it out, so she got her away.
Yeah.
But when Adele gets there, Mark's there, and he's just on his computer, and I walk in, and he's like, "Hey, bro, how are you?" And I'm like, "I'm good, man." And he was like,
Yeah, because I'm fairly certain I have never seen Mark surprised.
All right, so Christian
He-
says,
he's
you know
like-
what's crazy? All these athletes' homes getting robbed while they are playing games. It's nuts.
I haven't seen that. Wait, really?
Natalie's are
Oh, you
completely batshit. Natalie's are completely batshit, is what he says.
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No.
Luka Doncic for the Dallas.
Yeah?
Yeah, so he just got hurt on that calf sprain,
Yeah.
and he's suspended for a month while he heals and stuff like that, or he's like taking a break.
Yeah, yeah.
They had a Mavs game, so he was like there to support the team. While he was there, his house got robbed. While he was away.
I don't know how thieves haven't figured this out already. Like, how did it take them this long?
Right.
How have more houses?
It's
not
the
been
most
robbed?
predictable away schedule ever.
Yeah, you just go, oh, they have a game this day. I can go to this house.
Turns out it's a home game. Golly, I wonder where they're going to be for the next 5 hours.
Yeah, I mean that's opportunistic crime is always going to be a
Yes,
major thing. Yeah.
It's right there. I mean,
Yeah, so I don't know many Natalies. I can't speak to the craziness of the Natalie.
I haven't met any Natalie's either.
I have
Athena,
many.
like I had an Athena, and she was crazy. She was a redhead though. Ooh, she was double
Say,
crazy.
I knew an Athena that was a DJ that was also a redhead, and also crazy.
She had a twin sister. Did that one?
I mean, who knows?
Fair.
But
That got
Yeah,
in a lot of trouble.
to finish that, what Mark said to Adele the first time he met her was because Adele was like, hey, so what's Jennifer like? And he's like, I don't know. She'll either. What did she say? What did he say exactly, Adele? Because I want to. She'll either. Oh yeah. So he's like, she'll either fuck you or rape you or fight you or both or kill you. And Adele's like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, I don't know what to say. That's pretty much. I would just stay away from her if you can.
Christian says, what I don't understand is how do they not have better security systems?
You would think.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's really easy to get that little sign off someone else's lawn.
That is true.
I mean, it's security systems. I mean, the more sophisticated the security system, there's going to be people who are sophisticated enough to be able to hire and hack. It's just.
That's why you don't put
Everything.
a sign and you just get a Rottweiler or a Doberman and say nothing.
Oh, dude! So I have two dogs, and both of them will absolutely kill you.
I've dated like 4 Natalies and they're all nuts, especially the one that had a bird. Bird chicks are nuts. You're not wrong. Bird chicks are nuts.
Yo, you're not. My mom had a bird, and she's totally insane. And my girlfriend also had birds, and she's pretty crazy as well, but in a good way.
Listen,
Watch out. She's
Greg,
going to chuck a beer at you.
walk in. Is that a parrot? Nope. I'm out.
Sorry.
Done.
Oh, birds.
It depends on. You're like, oh, is it a cockatiel? Okay, I'll stick around. But if it's a parrot, no, I'm out. You know.
An African gray.
Is that a fucking macaw? I'm out.
is that an Indian ringneck? Oh my god, I'm out of here.
This is really bad. I gotta leave.
Ooh, I'm allergic.
I'm allergic to things. Bye.
Christian, what are you doing for the new year, man? Cameron, what are you doing for the new year? Is it already over there?
Nah, he's like New Year's Eve right now.
He's driving the blue bomber around.
It's what, like 7 a.m., 8 a.m.?
Trying to pick up bitches. That's what he's gonna be doing.
No, I'm going with my lady, bro. We're gonna be doing fun things and
What time
having
is it
somebody
over
else
there?
drive us around. Right now it is 1:41 in the afternoon. But yeah, we're gonna be driving around with the giant blue machine, our perfect little
Oh,
fantastical
37
universe.
cc's of it.
Yeah. No, it's actually I just had the muffler completely redone. It sounds super quiet. It sounds like
you
a
should
fucking
import a Jeep.
Mercedes. They have Jeeps everywhere here, mate. They have Jeeps and Jeeps. You know what's so crazy? One of the first things I noticed when I moved to Cambodia, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is a third world country. Nobody has any money." I get here, there's like Lamborghinis all over the place, Ferraris. Most people drive Lexuses. So there's like everybody has a Lexus or a Mercedes van. There's very like you would. So it's like
I'm curious
okay,
how
that's
cheap parts are out there at this point.
well. So that's the thing. That's why Lexus and Mercedes, because they have factories here. I think that's probably the reason why. And then the import tax is insane here for anything that's machine or electronic. So
Fair.
but
Is that why you had to go
Yeah.
to Australia to get headphones?
well, actually, no, it was just because she happened to be there, and it was a Boxing Day sale. I guess
Yeah.
there's this wonderful thing called Boxing Day where there was boxes left on people's
That's
front porch.
International Mike Tyson Day. Thank you very much.
So it was 5-finger discount.
Yeah, I don't even like having a day. You know, that wasn't my plan.
Dude, there's-
nobody told me. Nobody
there's a
told me it
part
was
of
gonna
me-
be my day. I just want to be a nice guy. I don't want a day for me.
Dude, there's a part of me that loves that Mike Tyson knows who Scott is and he hates him.
Yeah. He wasn't my cut man. I never had a cut man like that.
The guy that,
if we could ever get Mike Tyson on, like that would be I love that guy. Like he is.
I don't know if I want to see him in person. Apparently, he is highly intimidating when he's off his
He's not. He's fine now. He's back on the weed. He's good.
back on the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's fine.
No, I'd want to see him, dude. But Lane and I can do that podcast if you guys want to leave.
Nah, I'll be on it.
It'd be Lane and Tyson and
I'm gonna
myself.
poke that bear. Apparently,
Well,
I have that issue. Apparently, can he show his moped or motorcycle or whatever he's talking about? Your blue,
yeah, they want to see the tuk-tuk, Cameron.
the tuk tuk.
oh yeah, I can.
He's gonna go try and hobble it around. No, he's grabbing the laptop. He's on the move.
Time to go mobile.
I don't have a phone, but I can carry this laptop over there.
It needed to be in the voice.
Oh, time to go mobile.
Time to go mobile.
It's time to go mobile.
You can't make Bane jokes without the Bane voice.
Can you see it?
Oh, there's the tuk tuk. It's right there on the right hand
Yeah,
side.
where?
Look at that.
I see a tree.
Yeah.
No, next to the tree.
You're right in
Which-
between them.
Which
You see
tree?
it? Look, you can see it in between the trees.
Yeah, there's lots
That
of trees
fruit
here.
stand?
The little, yeah, the gypsy
We
wagon.
have a giant
Gypsy
fucking
fruit
property,
stand
mate.
that's parked
This
That's
up in front
exactly
there?
what that is. That's a gypsy fruit stand.
The
You selling cabbages
sketchiest
at that
fruit-
bitch?
Yeah, what fruit stand is that? What are you selling?
Listen.
Like papayas or something?
Cameron has a long-standing experience with gypsies.
I bet he does.
I
He
do.
looks like a gypsy.
He looks like the aftermath of what a gypsy did.
Gypsy bush pilot. That's
What
what
was
he
the
is.
hey, Cameron? What was the name of the Irishman that went back and grabbed everyone's passports? Ray with the 9-iron.
Oh, yes. Okay, so when I had to attack the guy with the 9-iron.
No. Who
Which
was the
time?
Irish
Which story?
dude that fucking?
Oh, that was that's Phelim Satan O'Neill
Phelim Satan O'Neill.
and Keith O'Grady. Those were
Keith
the two.
O'Grady.
Back when we had
Keith
proper
O'Grady.
J1s in Tahoe.
Yeah.
My name
Yeah.
is Keith.
Oh yeah,
Keith O'Grady.
they were there literally. I've never seen anything like it. Keith O'Grady was there to do his international barrister's exam, and so was Phelim, and they never studied at all. And then the night before they flew to New York to go to do it, they were hanging out with us all night at Club Nero, totally fucking off their face. We were at their house until
That's way
like
back
5
in
in
the
the
day.
morning, and then they boarded a plane like at 9 in the morning. So like 5 in the morning, they're like, "Oh, we got to go to Reno. We got to go to Reno. Shit, we got to get on the fucking airplane." And they and so I'm like, okay. So they go and they flew out. They got dressed in their suits. I was like helping them make their collar and shit. And they're like, didn't even fucking shower. Flew there, took the exam, passed it, and flew back to Tahoe.
Yeah.
And then flew back to Ireland
So
afterwards.
Cameron
drank some more.
Cameron was a promoter at Nero's before he was 21,
Oh, how'd you manage
Yeah.
that?
which is relevant because I actually met Cameron before I met Cameron.
Yeah, because you took his ID.
I took his ID. So
Yeah, that's true.
years after we met, so it was the opening of Stone Street. I had just come back from college, and I was the only one. I was a bartender, but I was the only one that had any really ID experience. They stick me at the fucking door. And
I've been going into this place all the time with zero issues ever.
yeah. So
That's awesome. I saw that shit in Iraq.
yeah. So years later, I meet Cameron for real. And we knew each other for a while. And he was like, dude, I remember going into fucking Stone Street. He goes, right after it opened. He goes, and this guy fucking took my ID. And he goes, and he said the strangest thing to me. He goes, listen, go up the hall. And I cut him off. And I go, find a cop, bring him back. And if he tells me this is real ID, I'll buy you a beer. And he looks at me, he goes, you took my fucking ID.
And Cameron went, "You're the guy with the fucking truckload of cigarettes."
Yeah, no. So so how did I do it, Kevin? I think Kevin asked or Casey asked. So how I did it was the guy Phelim O'Neill. I was hanging out with them, and they owned this nightclub called it's still there in Galway. It's called Bogart's, and they used to own one called The Source in Choom. And I asked them, how did you do it? And he was like, I just walked up one day, fucking went to him and said, hey, what's your fucking deadest night? And they said, Wednesdays, because the other place is always too busy. He said, okay, I'll take your Wednesday nights then, and I'll go against you. Yeah, and they were like, okay, take it. And I was like, okay. So that night I went to Club Nero. I'd already been sneaking in there with Holdren and shit and with my fake ID and all that. So I didn't even need an ID anymore in Nero's at all. And walked up to the new manager there and just walked up to him and I said, hey, I want to take your Thursday nights. Because at that time they were going head to head against Altitude.
Yeah, their day was Monday, right? And Altitude was Thursday.
Yep. And they were like, why would you want to do that? And I was like, because it's your deadest night. So if you give me 100% of the door and give me 20% of the bar, and I'll do it. And they were like, we don't do anything like that. And I'm like, okay. And they were like, well, you know what? Put in a proposal. And I was like, okay, I'll be here tomorrow. And they were like, okay, yeah, we'll consider it. And then I left and I walked across the street and I was like, I have no fucking idea how to write a proposal at all. Like, I don't know anything about writing a proposal. And so I walked across the street to go over, get food from Scott, who was a waiter. And he was all pissed off, flipping out, because he usually hated the chef Andy, but this time he hated somebody else. So I was like, oh, I have to meet this guy. Well, it turns out that was Lane. And so I looked at Lane and I was like, Scott hates you. I think I should meet you. And you laughed. And I was like, do you know how to write a proposal? And you were like, funny enough, I do. And then he did. And then I went and I talked to my dad and I opened a LLC in Carson City with my dad as the chief operating officer, or whatever that is. I can't remember the terminology. And I put myself on as the marketing director and got paid to that from things. And so that way I was able to go under the radar. That's how. Yeah. And then that was right before Caesars got bought by Harrah's. And then when Caesars got bought by Harrah's, I had my playbook that I had written, a lot of it with Lane, actually.
I thought this place was bought by
Oh, it was a Columbia Sussex.
Columbia
Sorry.
Sussex. Yeah. Back
So
in
it
06.
was no.
Columbia.
So that's the original monopoly decision. So
Yeah. Yep.
Harrah's
Because
bought the company that owned this property,
Okay.
and then was forced to sell it because Columbia Sussex filed a lawsuit,
So Columbia
Yeah.
Sussex
They
bought
filed-
this place
Yeah.
after the lawsuit.
and then
Got it.
wrecked it.
But
Columbia
originally it
Sussex
was
buying
Harrah's
this
that
place-
bought it.
Yeah. Columbia Sussex buying this place was the greatest travesty this building has ever suffered.
I feel like the greatest travesty was T2.
Yeah, but this was the catalyst. Like
Yeah.
this is
is
I
the
don't
start
even
of
know what
this.
that is,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna love hearing about it. But yeah, so that was the whole deal.
T2 was the
Lane
GM
wouldn't even
here.
shake his hand at the golf
No.
course.
So T2, I worked for T2 for a long time, and he
Do
was
I
a
know
disaster.
T2?
No, I don't think you do. He was after you.
Nah, he was out of
okay.
Reno, Harris.
So this dude
Okay.
has run 3 casinos. 2 of them were so successful, they're not casinos anymore. The third one is about to not be a casino, like it's walking the line, right? The dude has cost thousands of people their jobs. He's lost fucking millions of dollars of revenue. He's a disaster, right? But I had to work for him. One of the first things he ever said to me, I was talking about something. He's like, "We don't need to make it. You don't need to make anybody else in this property happy. You just need to make me happy." Like, "Oh, you're that guy. Cool." Anyway, just a fucking disaster, but he could fire me for a long time. So like I was nice to him. So fast forward, he retires. I run into him. I'm behind him on the golf course. And I'm doing my best to keep my distance. I want nothing to fucking do with it. And he finally, like, there's a hole that U-turns, and there was no way for me to avoid it. And he sees me, and he walks up to me. Now, he's playing with the president of the Chorus Distributorship in Northern Nevada. And one of the directors of fucking banquets. Like some guys that have some pull up here that he's known for a long time that he wants to impress. And he walks up to me and I desperately tried. Like I tried. I got out of the cart and he's walking up
No, you didn't.
and he's like, "How the fuck are you?" And he puts his hand out, and that's where like that was the end of trying. Like, can't do it. And I fucking look at him and I go, "If you think I'm gonna shake the hand of a piece of fucking trash like you, you're outside your goddamn mind."
Another one of my favorite Laneisms.
Yep.
And he's like, "What?" I go, "You were the worst fucking operator I have ever encountered." I go, "You have cost so many people their fucking jobs. Like, you have no idea what the fuck you were doing." And he's like, "Well, if I had people like you," I'm like, "People like me, I never got to do anything. You micromanaged the shit out of that place. Everything that happened was your fucking fault." He's like, "Record EBITDA every year I was there." I'm all, "First of all, false. I was there the year you had to beg for fucking bonuses. Second, you can't run a low-speed fucking liquidation sale and call it EBITDA. You're managing what you think is a distressed asset in the most popular growing market in the fucking country, and you can't generate original revenue? Like, you're fucking crazy. Like, you were just selling assets and calling it revenue." He's like, "Wow, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah." And then finally, dude, I fucking look at him and I go, "Look, dude, your career is a fucking graveyard of jobs and properties. Like, I don't know what you fucking want from me, but we're done here." Yeah.
To be clear, for the audience, if you just piped in, he's not talking about Kamala Harris, but it's
Right?
basically the same
Yeah.
thing.
I used to, like, when Lane worked here, I was working surveillance here in the casino, and I would mosey on over to his office and just sit in there and bullshit sometimes. Of course,
Yeah.
I'd walk into that general manager's office and just start poking around different things. And
Dude, I am fairly certain. Like, I am fairly certain that dude's like entire world was shattered that day.
probably.
Shattered.
Your soul is mine.
Listen, he wasn't in charge of you anymore. He couldn't fire you. He couldn't do shit. So, I mean, really,
Yeah.
it was fair
That's-
game at that point.
Yeah, I mean that's where the narcissistic tendency probably would come out afterward, unfortunately. So if he was in charge of other people, he probably went and took it out on them.
Well, no, he's like no one will give him a job anymore. He's
He
retired.
retired. This was his last place.
Actually, it got better after that
he's
because
like Dave Davis now.
2 holes later.
Essentially, yeah.
2 holes later, I drove the ball 8 yards off the green on a par 4, and he had to watch me as I was they were walking off, and I was already up on the hole, and I fucking chipped it to like 6 inches, and he watched me the whole time, and I just walked in and fucking bumped it in for birdie.
The ultimate fuck you. That wasn't Lane slicing it down at Dairy Creek. That's
My
Lane in
game's
his
gotten
game.
a little bit better.
I heard Dave Davis was over there at
He
Edgewood.
retired. No, he was at Heavenly, and he retired this year.
All right, okay.
I mean, he was pretty successful at Heavenly.
Yeah.
But hard not to be successful at Heavenly, especially the lodge that he was running before he was a director. Like, that lodge does business completely by accident. Like,
I mean, he
just
was able
stumbled
to make a lot of money off of my playbook. So
Dave,
I'm happy that he.
the Dimmock Davis. How many nightclubs did that guy kill?
Enough.
Every
3?
single one that he touched.
Yeah.
Lily's.
Fucking drinking with Lincoln. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
drinking with Lincoln, bro.
The worst
That was...
drink promotion in the history of the world.
Okay, so just to touch on that, mind you, this for anybody that's viewing this is like this nightclub is right out front of a movie theater in the casino. And Drinking with Lincoln is a promotion where you pay $5 and you can drink all night for free after that.
All right.
And we've got kids lining up. It's Christmas, which is our busiest time.
Cameron.
We got kids lining
Yeah,
up,
cameras are out.
ready to go in and see, whatever they're going to watch, or people coming up to watch Meet the Parents or something, or whatever Christmas movies out at the time, Monsters Inc.
Something
And they're
like
just
that,
like they're like lined down the whole front of it, and then you've got people that have already shown up because the nightclub opened at like 6 or something like that. People, the most absolute losers of the losers in Tahoe, showed up early, and they'd be so hammered, and there's no bathroom inside of the nightclub, so they have to come out front of the nightclub to go to the bathroom, which is in front of the theater, and so they're just like stumbling over and throwing up on people. And it's like, and we're just like, we're getting all these complaints to corporate and all this about how the behavior, and we're like, we can't do anything about it. There's it was the most retarded thing. And then they ripped that place down and turned it into an arcade.
Well, I mean, it's still not as bad
Which
as
is
like
where I got
Opal.
Okay.
They just pissed in the elevator of Opal, or in the corner, or open the back door and just pee off the side of the balcony.
Yeah, Opal never even made any sense.
It still doesn't, and I don't think I've never seen it open.
I don't think it's going to reopen. I would love to rent that space.
They keep talking
Me
about moving
too.
the steakhouse there.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Joshua's or
because they have
whatever.
all the fucking cooking stuff back
Yeah,
there.
but dude,
all
none
the
of
stuff.
that's any good anymore.
No, they'd have to
They'd have to
replace
replace
it all.
of it. They're not going to put the money in to move the steakhouse there.
No.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you and I were able to take over that lease, mate, that place would be the most famous nightclub immediately.
Mm-hmm.
It would happen instantly, man.
Well, Blue's been closed down for
Yeah,
But,
the
you know,
Roadhouse.
forever.
Alas, they never will.
Yeah,
The Roadhouse.
Blue was
Wow.
was Nero's, right?
Yes.
You wouldn't,
And
Yeah.
then it underwent the worst remodel in history.
Yeah.
Oh God,
you
they
wouldn't,
completely
horrible
destroyed
in
that
there.
place.
What's that?
you wouldn't call it the Roadhouse?
No. No, because we already had a roadhouse. Bill's had a roadhouse.
Yeah, so bring it back.
That was
Years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. I loved it. $1 hot dog with a beer.
Dude, I made more money working that bar than any bar I've ever worked, and I've worked some really successful bars.
Bowman gets to be
Dude, I
Sam
remember
Elliott,
the night
and
when I
you get
saw you there and on New Year's Eve, and I hadn't seen you in forever, and I came up and I was like, I must have been 10 people back, and I just see you point at me from behind the bar, and you're like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, "Holy shit!" And I ordered, and then you immediately had my drinks. You were like, killing it behind that bar, dude.
Dude, I
Dang
made
it.
so much money on that bar. It was stupid. Like, Bill's was the secret cash cow for service employees.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
if
Dave
you're
used to tell me about it.
oh yeah, dude, if you were willing to work graveyard, dude, I walked out of that place on New Year's Day. I worked fucking 14 hours or something New Year's Eve. I walked out of that place on New Year's Day with actual Corona buckets of cash. Like,
But didn't they used to pull from Chico State?
yeah, I mean everywhere.
Yeah.
Dude, I got home, I dumped 3 Corona buckets of cash on the table and went to bed. It's like
Yeah, dude. There was a point where we were all making a lot of money in Tahoe, but it's you know.
If only Casey and I were around back then.
dude, the bartenders at Lucky Beaver still make that kind of money. They do really well.
Yeah,
Oh,
it turns out Lucky Beaver just turned into everyone outside the service industry when they get off just goes there.
Yeah, that was one of the first places I went to when I came back to Tahoe. I went there, and then I came over to see Lane and get into a shit hot fight with him, and then didn't talk to him for another 2 years after that.
That sounds about right.
I
Because
do
I-
that.
Well, first of all, you mean he didn't talk to you? Don't try to own it like you didn't talk to him.
I think it was probably pretty mutual. Like we just
I
parted
think it was
ways for a while.
mutual.
We needed a cooling off period.
See,
Well, I mean, I remember what I said too. That really, I was like, when was the last time that something actually fucking happened in this building? The goddamn Pointer Sisters. you were like, fuck you, dude. Like it was so funny. Like I read through the messages back and forth between each other, and it's actually pretty funny to look at now.
I mean, they were pretty eloquent fights, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean we're both pretty good at that part. You know what I mean? Like it's. But dude, yeah, it was pretty funny. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely it was initiated by me being just like an asshole, and then Lane being like, okay, and then me being like, okay, game
Dude,
on, and then that's where.
There's a part of me, right? It's not all the time, but there's a part of me, like when I get past a certain point, it's like G. Lloyd. Like, I have to learn to like people.
you've gotten better. I mean, our fights don't last that long. I just poke the bear until you blow up, and then a couple hours later, you're good.
Same as me and my girlfriend.
I fucking poke that bear constantly. He comes in angry. I'm like, ooh.
I will take some credit for Lane getting better at some of these things in the old days. There were many things that I diffused back in the day.
Fair.
And also, on the other side, you all are very aware that he had to diffuse a lot of things for me as well.
Yeah, we
So I'm
know
not
quite a bit.
expecting that.
I mean, it could just be that I'm getting older. I was what's the best way to say it? I was a bit intemperate in my youth.
So Christian says, sounds like you guys need some marriage counseling. Never. It's cathartic to do what we do.
I mean, I will say, Cameron and I have never gone to blows over anything.
No.
No, because he wouldn't be here right now if that was
Didn't
the case.
Didn't you tell him one time you would rip his arm out of his socket and beat
I
him
think
with it?
I didn't.
He did say that to me one time.
Yeah, I think what I said was, I will rip your arm off and beat you to death with it.
Yeah. And I didn't back down either, to be fair. So.
No. Cameron doesn't know how to back down. Yeah.
No, I don't have that gear, dude. It
That
doesn't
gear's not
exist.
there. That was lost
No.
a long time ago.
It's a fucking Monty Python skit.
It's like, yeah, it is like a Monty Python skit.
Fucking arms off. No, it isn't.
That's not my arm.
Just by the flesh wound.
Whose arm am I being beat with? What is this?
Twisted
Oh, it's
mind.
mine. Shit.
Two dislocated
Now,
arms just fucking
mind
flopping
you,
around.
Completely contextual here because at the time, Cameron's shoulders not great.
Probably
That was right
still not
after.
great.
It was right after I had
Yeah, he
dislocated it.
sneezes now and probably
rock
dislocates his
climbing.
shoulder. Come on.
Yeah, it was after I dislocated it rock climbing. And then the guy that was in San Luis Obispo that couldn't figure out, I don't know if that guy was sick on shoulder day or whatever, but he had zero idea what he was doing, dude.
Christian
And
says
so I
that's
just-
a line from Varsity Blues.
Yeah.
Which one?
Oh, the arm thing?
Yeah,
It might be.
I'm guessing.
I'm pretty sure.
It probably
Jack
is.
Reacher's
To be
character.
fair, we did. I'm sure Lane watched Varsity Blues and wished that he was the quarterback a lot.
I was not a Varsity Blues guy.
He also didn't like playing football that much. He wanted to do golf.
I wanted to
Yeah.
golf. What can I say?
Oh,
I was a better
eventually
golfer than
you'll-
I was a football player.
Yeah, and your coach regrets it to this day.
Could have gone to state.
I was just
God
big,
damn
and
you.
they're like, "You're playing football," and I was like, "Okay."
Well, I mean, you did have a trainer with who was the trainer?
IJ Gorman.
Which one?
IJ Gorman.
He was the strength coach for the Broncos for a long time.
And somehow he managed to get your mom to let you him train you.
It's because my mom was effectively his personal banker.
Oh,
Him and his wife. His wife, funny story. So he turns out being a strength coach in the 70s and early 80s in the NFL, not amazingly lucrative.
let's make this the last story. We're at 2:06.
Yeah. So his wife made substantially more money than he did. She was the head of HR for a Fortune 50 company.
Oh.
She made amazing money. Like late 90s, early 2000s, was mid seven figures.
Wow.
He says Billy Bob said it.
Oh, yeah.
So you're
okay.
Billy Bob.
He is kind of Billy Bob.
I mean, if someone ever forced me to put on a fucking Santa outfit, I would definitely be fucking bad Santa.
The fuck are you looking at?
Like, you're going to play Santa. I'd be like, that's a terrible idea.
All right, so wife
I remember
lucrative.
I remember when Bad Santa came out. We'll tell a story about that because we watched that. I'm pretty sure together. I thought it was going to be the worst movie I'd ever seen, and it turned out to be one of the funniest movies ever made. Dude.
Oh, it's a phenomenal movie.
All right. Christian, you got anything for closing? LaRon, if you're still out there. Fucking Cameron, before we sign this off and go bank up a couple of reviews, since I got to be up in, I don't know, 6 hours, 7 hours?
7 hours.
7
and
hours.
53 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll finally
well,
get some sleep after over 24 hours.
It did sound like my third manager is working tomorrow, so I might actually get out of there in time to come here and help out with New Year's Eve.
Good. I was thinking about coming up.
Come up.
Go on down.
Right? Nothing better to do. I'll bring the tea up.
I don't have any
Walk
fucking.
on down.
I don't have any champagne. I could go buy some champagne. I don't have any
Listen, we
champagne.
have the champagne right here.
But I do have.
Fuck.
I do have Fat Tuesday. It's like a $70 bourbon barrel aged stout, limited release.
I got my grandma a Pinot Noir, but it was aged
Dude,
in
I was trying to get that night when I texted you. I was trying to fucking figure out a way because I didn't bring in wine. I was like, fuck, I didn't bring in wine.
I wasn't worried. I found one, and it. Hopefully she likes it. I haven't asked her yet, but she gave me 2 bottles of wine.
Well, I'll give you some for fucking Easter. So next time you guys do a family thing, I'll give you some.
All right. But yes, we could just drink this. Look, this is the wine of the Americas.
I'm not going to complain about that. This shit's phenomenal.
This is the wine of America.
This is the
fucking
champagne.
bourbon.
This is the champagne of the
Listen.
South.
Listen, it's the wine of the South. Kentucky did it right with this, and you go, yee.
At least it's not Cambodian German beer.
That is true. Hey, that's our sponsor. You better watch
your
out.
sponsor this
Say what I
evening.
want.
Absolutely fantastic.
He
Boss
said
is
something about a
Das.
steak.
Das is good.
Yeah.
Das good beer.
Gansberg, only drink of the Swedish House Mafia.
I am better.
Come down to the fur bunker and get your Gansberg.
Hitler's last beer before.
I think you broke Lane.
This is good in the fur bunker, no?
Yeah. Christian says, Happy New Year's.
You too, man. Enjoy
Happy
your
New
fucking New
Year,
Year's Eve.
Christian. And New Year to all you guys, man. And I look forward to doing more of this stuff together. And as far as last stuff to say, thanks for having me on again. I'm hopefully going to be able to upgrade this camera soon, but
it's
at
not
least
bad.
this is working better.
Yeah, it's
And,
working pretty well, man.
Yeah, we
The
can see
headset-
some
I think
next
of
week I'm gonna
nature,
set
The
up in a
headset was the
different-
big upgrade right there. We can hear you clearly.
We need to figure out if we can toggle between streaming.
We can't. I just have to play with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need to set that up.
To hook it up through this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this episode is sponsored by JBL.
Yes. So our list of sponsors now: JBL, Gansberg, X Bar,
They don't know they're sponsors, but guess what? They are.
X-Bar.
and Cameron's ultra magnificent wild blue tutu.
Oh, and the fish food.
And the red fish food.
And
Every time you say
the
tuk tuk, all I can
super
think
red
about
fish
is the
food.
Philippines. Yeah, you're showing the fish food again. There we go.
It'll have to become a thing where I do a different sponsorship each week of ridiculous shit that's in.
I'm gonna start doing that. This is sponsored
Dude,
by.
like 6
Pocket
months.
Works.
6 months from now, someone from Cambodia is going to come through the shop, and they're going to be speaking in my ridiculous fucking diction. Be like, what the fuck just happened?
It is. I learned from you.
Also wearing the Angry Lane Face T-shirt.
We're working
Oh
on that
God.
one.
Dude,
We
get
gotta
a
find the
picture
right
of it. I will
photo.
make it happen.
Fucking-
I will get them printed and I will sell. I will
Shit, you
wear
can get
it.
it made cheaply out there, can't you? Let's get some hats and everything going.
made
Just
by
says-
the finest children's hands that you can find.
It just says "listen" in Cambodian on the bottom.
Now that wouldn't be Cambodia, that'd be China. But I'll import them from China because I want child labor involved in this situation. It's going to be Lane's angry face shirt.
Oh, we've been messing with Lane forever on this. Angry Lane face. We'd switch over to ooh, angry Lane face.
Running joke. Although you should have got him when I was like, "Go down to the field, bunker."
It was there. It was there.
All right,
Oh,
Cameron,
man.
enjoy your fucking New Year's Eve, man.
I will, man. We'll have some updates. And I'll make sure to get some pictures if you guys can figure out how to actually put things on a podcast, so I can show a little bit of the journey.
Listen, you managed to get on. What are you complaining about?
I ain't complaining about shit, motherfucker. You just need to get better.
Nah. You
Hey,
need to pull the bitch
he-
out your
Dude, I'm
ass and
sure-
fucking stop
He took
complaining.
the headset out of his little Huey that he's had.
I'm
what
sure
happened.
we can figure out a way to play
He-
clips.
He stole that Cessna.
All right.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Me.
Well, happy New Year, everyone,
Me.
and thank you for
Kevin.
all the people who watch.
You too, Bowman. We'll talk soon, man.
All right, guys, if you made it this far, go ahead and do YouTube stuff. We also got merch. We got new hats with our podcast logo and hats with our
Shop
shop
logo.
logo. It's very nice. Handworked by myself, and we managed to get it done. It just took us, I don't know, what, 2-3 years?
Yeah, listen, a
We
little
got
bit.
there. Hey, it happens.
It's handworked by himself, just like his own penis.
But hey, Lane also got
Kevin
coins.
is the hand job master.
That's right. I give myself hand jobs every day.
Every day,
Damn it.
motherfucker.
Oh, look at that. We broke Lane. We broke Lane again. He is broken.
He's like, "Fuck this, I'm out."
I'm
On
done.
that note, later, guys.
All right, guys.